4 of the World Series on Fox.
Last Saturday night in the shrine they call Yankee Stadium, the first Subway Series in 44 years began. And soon after, the snapshots of Subway Series past would move aside for the instant images of the Game 1 thriller.
Left field, base hit, Yankees win Game 1.
Then in Game 2, the Yankees would strike quickly and often.
And the Yankees strike first. In to score Martinez, and it's 4-0 Yankees.
The Bombers would hold on despite a late, desperate, amazing attack.
Big trouble. Into the corner, it's gone.
As the scene shifted back to Shea, the Mets had a real need for a clutch deed by the man named Reed. And for the first time in postseason play, defeat would be part of El Duque's resume.
Steele on the races. He's around third. Digging for the play, and the Mets take a 3-2 inning lead. Alfonso. Mets win Game 3.
Now the time has come for game number 4, and Benny and the Mets are ready to settle that score. The Mets and the Yankees, New York and New York. Two teams that share a city, but only one will earn the right to be champion. Next, it's Game 4 of the 2000 Subway Series on Fox. It's the E-Trade World Series pregame show.
23-year-old Uma Singh's chance to win $1 million. Let's go to Uma, his coach, Hall of Famer Raleigh Fingers, and our Steve Lyons. Steve?
All right, Keith, thank you very much. Welcome, everybody, to Game 4 of the 2000 World Series and the Gillette Strike Zone Challenge for $2 million. Now, here's how it works. Here is the strike zone. The strike zone is 18 inches by 30 inches, which is way bigger than the Major League strike zone. You know that this is a very generous strike zone. All you have to do is throw the ball right through here, hit it in the net. Hi, Mom. Even my mother could do this. Tonight's challenger, the guy, the grand prize winner, is Uma Singh from San Jose. Quick note on Uma, never picked up a baseball in his life before he won this challenge. Uma, how you doing? Good to see you.
I'm fine.
How you feeling?
I'm happy and excited. Yeah.
Looks like you got a nice close shave. Did you use the Mach 3?
Yeah.
All right. I'm going to talk to your coach over here, Hall of Famer Raleigh Fingers. Raleigh, how did he look in practice?
Worked with him yesterday down in the bullpen. Made a few changes on how to hold the ball, and he threw 3 or 4 through the hole. So I think he's got a pretty good chance of doing it.
You know, his game is cricket. So never having picked up a baseball before, is this going to be a little tough for him?
It's a little different motion, but he still has a pretty good idea, and he throws the ball straight.
All right, well, you know, everybody here at Shea Stadium, they know how to get into it. Uma, they're going to help you out with this. Get up there and throw a strike.
Okay. All right, let me dig a hole here for you. Okay. Just want to make sure you have to make sure you keep your foot on the rubber there. Don't forget what we talked about, okay? Throw the ball just a little bit high. Make sure you throw the 4-seam. Make sure you get your finger underneath, okay? Take your time. Take a couple deep breaths. Relax. Okay, you ready? Okay, good luck, big guy. Good luck. Take your time now.
I'll tell you what, Uma, very close. Not only do you win $25,000 for yourself, but you also win $25,000 for the Gillette Women's Cancers Foundation. I'll tell you what, we've done this a lot of years, and at least you winged it up there with a good effort.
Okay.
And I hope you're happy with your prize.
Yeah, I'm very happy. Yeah, I'm very excited. I'm very happy.
All right, congratulations.
Thank you.
And congratulations to the Gillette and the Women's Cancer Foundation. Probably good job out there. All right, Keith, let's go back to you.
Thanks, Steve. Looked like a strike from here. Strike in the American League.
2000 World Series on Fox continues. Tonight, it's Game 4 from Shea Stadium, where the New York Mets host the New York Yankees. Inside Shea Stadium is our broadcast booth. And hello, everybody. I'm Joe Buck, joined in a moment by Tim McCarver and Bob Brenly. Well, on Saturday night, before game, a ballpark near you, at least for the 2000 baseball season. And away we go. What do these men have in store for us tonight? At the Baja, man. The Mets and the Yankees. Getting ready for game 4, and Bobby Jones has been preparing for this since he left the mound after a less than stellar effort in game 4 of the National League Championship Series. The starting lineup for the New York Yankees brought to you by Coors Light. Derek Jeter leads off tonight with Luis Sojo in the lineup this evening instead of Vizcaíno. Sojo batting second at second. David Justice hitting third, and Bernie Williams in World Series play hitless in his last 18 at-bats, yet he's cleaning up. Tino Martinez at first, Paul O'Neill in right, Jorge Posada catching, Scott Brosius at third, and Denny Nagel pitching and batting ninth. No surprises at all for the Mets defensively, and this is the way Bobby Valentine has gone throughout the postseason. This is the way he will continue to go. With Agbayani, Payton, and Perez in the outfield, Ventura, Bordick, Alfonso, and Zeal. Alfonso and Zeal have been perfect defensively this postseason so far. Catching is Mike Piazza, and on the mound is Bobby J. Jones.
11-6 record this year. That was the most wins he had since 1997. And that outing to which you referred, Joe, back on the 15th of October against the St. Louis Cardinals. That was the only game the Cardinals won in the NLCS. He worked 4 innings, giving up 6 hits and 6 earned runs. His curve has improved. It's crucial to his success, and he often throws it early in the count. His arm strength is better than it was earlier in the year when he spent 10 days at Norfolk, the AAA affiliate of the New York Mets. He throws all the pitches, but he must be very fine because he is not a hard thrower.
Joe Torre and the Yankees ready to take on Bobby Jones. One thing that we want to point out to our audience tonight prior to the start of this game 4 is something that took place here on the field moments before Sheryl Crow did such a great job with our national anthem, and that was Major League Baseball, these fans, and I'm sure this country, it's in with a bang.
Right after the Rockets' red glare, another Rockets' red glare. First pitch, inside fastball. Boom. Derek Jeter with 15 home runs on the regular season on one pitch puts the Yankees ahead.
A strike over the outside corner to Luis Sojo. Two guys not in the lineup. Knobloch, the typical leadoff hitter for the Yankees, and he enjoyed it every bit as much as the rest of the Yankee dugout. Derek Jeter gets his 3rd home run of this postseason, his 1st of this World Series. The 16th leadoff home run in series history. 0-2 the count on Sojo with Justice and Bernie Williams to follow. And Sojo stays alive. So now you're talking about Derek Jeter, who has reached base in 55 of 60 career postseason games. He scored a run in 17 of 18 World Series games in which he has participated. And with one swing, the first pitch has put the Yankees out in front here in game 4. The 0-2 to Sojo. Breaking ball chopped to third. Ventura time to wait. High throw, but out. One away.
Derek Jeter led off 21 times this year, and this is his first leadoff home run of the year. Normally the number 2 hitter. And Joe Torre telling us yesterday one of the reasons that he started Jose Vizcaíno in the #1 hole at second base was to allow Derek Jeter to continue to bat second. I think Joe's glad he let him off tonight.
So 1 out, bases empty, and here's David Justice. Justice last night made the final out when he popped up to the right side. Caught by Alfonso. Benitez had done his job, and the Mets had accomplished what they wanted to in Game 3, getting a victory and getting on the board in this series. Ball 1 to Justice. An 11-game winner. Tim mentioned the stint down at AAA for Bobby Jones. There's another stat for you. 13-game World Series hitting streak for Derek Jeter. 1 ball, 1 strike on Justice. Bobby Jones 0-2 this year against the Yankees, 0-3 lifetime. Into right field. Change up. 2 out.
Just enough to get David Justice out in front. Body went forward, the hands went with it, and that strips a power hitter of his power.
So now 2 out, and the batter will be Bernie Williams. During the season for Bobby Jones, after his first loss to the Yankees at Yankee Stadium, that was his final start before he elected to go back to AAA. He wanted to go down there and get things straightened out. He was 1-3 at that time. The Yankees pounded on him. A 13-5 loss, and he couldn't get through 5 innings. Sent down, 2 starts down at AAA, and he was 10-3 the rest of the regular season. 1 terrific start this postseason and 1 poor start. Dave Wallace, the pitching coach, watching as ball 1 drops low and away. A ball and a strike.
Best start of his life on October 8th against the San Francisco Giants.
Not a good start to the regular season. 1-3 his first 8 starts with an ERA over 10. Back to AAA, and his last 19 starts was 10-3. Into left center field. Payton going to get it, and the Yankees are finished in the first. The last time a player led off a World Series game, Ricky Henderson back in 1989. Until that blast from Jeter. 1/2 inning, Game 4, 1-0 Yankees. Danny Nagel has made 1 World Series start against the Yankees in '96. Now he makes 1 for them in the starting lineup for the New York Mets, brought to you by Coors Light. Timo Perez and Edgardo Alfonso, Mike Piazza, with Todd Zeile, one of the heroes last night, Ventura and Agbayani the other, batting 6th. Jay Payton, Mike Bordick, and Bobby Jones pitching and batting 9th. Danny Nagel, during the regular season, 7-7 with the Yankees, 8-2 with Cincinnati prior to his trade to New York. A free agent to be. Won his first 2 starts with the Yankees. Went through a stretch where he lost 4 straight decisions. Lost his last 3 starts of the regular season and was pounded in his last start at the end of September. An 11-1 loss at Tampa Bay. There are the numbers while they wore the pinstripes.
Joe Torre telling us tonight that the one thing that he and Billy Connors, the pitching coach, will pay close attention to is the arm angle of Denny Nagel. In order to make the ball go down, his arm's got to be up.
Perez, a late swing and strikeout to start the bottom of the first. Timo Perez now 1 out of 14 in this World Series.
That was our point right there. The ball, in order for it to go down, the arm's got to stay up. Sounds right, doesn't it? Muscard against overuse of the changeup. He'll use the change only to right-handed batters. Must pitch inside to right-handers to keep them from lunging out of the outside part of the plate.
You asking me or are you telling me?
I was just kind of asking the audience. It does make sense, doesn't it?
Absolutely. 1 out, nobody on, and a ball down and into Edgardo Alfonso, who is struggling in this World Series. 2 out of 13.
whole philosophy behind that is if you drop your arm down, you push the ball. If you're on top of the ball, you throw the ball, and that's what pitchers are supposed to do. Throw it, not guide it.
2-0 on Alfonso.
Here it is right here. He had extra pop on those fastballs to Perez. You can see that arm angle right there on top of the ball. That's what, more often than not, that's what all pitching coaches preach, to stay on top of the ball. Billy Connor's no exception.
The count's gone to 3-0 on Alfonso with Piazza next. Yankees on top by a run. There's a strike, 3-1. Edgardo Alfonso, 25 home runs during the regular season. That's out of play, full count. This game and all games during the World Series being shown on a big screen in downtown Caracas. Edgardo Alfonso, one of the heroes of Venezuela. They get 2 for the price of 1 tonight as Luis Sojo's in the lineup for the Yankees. 3 balls, 2 strikes, and a 1-out walk. One on, 1 out for Piazza, who's 3 out of 13 in this World Series, including a home run back in the 9th inning of Game 2.
To be grammatically proper, that banner should have read "My ulcer and I."
I was going to say something, but I just let it slide. 1 on, 1 out. Strike 1.
Mike Piazza appeared to be looking for the fastball. He got it and swung through it.
Third start of this postseason for Denny Nagel. That's crushed down the line, hooking foul. 0-2.
After the fastball, the changeup. Piazza just out in front. Hit a ton, but foul.
A .370 career average for Piazza in this head-to-head matchup. No balls, 2 strikes, 1 on, 1 out. Ball 1.
That's what we were talking about, coming inside to the right-handed batters to keep them from lunging out for the changeup. Posada sets up inside. Not all pitches are designed to get hitters out. Some pitches are designed to get them out later.
Late swing and a miss, 2 gone. 2 strikeouts here in the first inning for Denny Nagel.
Blows the fastball by him, and then the changeup, a scare. That pitch set up this pitch.
So a runner at first, 2 out. And a hero from last night's game, Todd Zeile, stands in. Zeile an RBI to tie the game in the 6th inning, an RBI double. A 1-out single in the 8th and scored the go-ahead run on the double by Agbayani. Strike 1. Zeile overall this postseason over 300, 304 in this World Series, 6 out of 13. That's foul. And it's 0-2. You would figure with this pitching matchup of Bobby Jones and Denny Nagel, then you would have a little more offense than we've seen in the first 3 games.
Yeah, you would normally. That's the case in World Series play, because in the 4th game you're either getting the 4th starter or the #1 starter with 3 days rest.
1 ball, 2 strikes. But these are veterans. Bobby Jones, the right-hander, won 11 games during the regular season. Denny Nagel, a guy who, combining his numbers with the Yankees in Cincinnati, won 15 games. And a guy with postseason experience while with Atlanta. A ball and 2 strikes on Zeal. Easy for Jeter to his left. Tricky hop. The inning is over. A force out 6-4. 1 inning complete in game 4. A leadoff home run by Jeter for the Yankees, and they lead by 1. Jones, the numbers in this postseason for him, a record of 1-0, ERA of 4.15, makes his 3rd start. He takes on Tino Martinez here in the 2nd inning. 1-0 the Yankees lead. And ball 1. Tino Martinez, 6 out of 14 in the World Series. Huge numbers in the postseason. Making everybody forget what he did during the regular season. A ball and a strike. Martinez, then O'Neill, then Posada for the Yankees in the 2nd. On the inside corner, strike 2. Jones, no strikeouts yet. That's popped foul back toward the dugout and out of play. Bob Brenly.
Yeah, Joe, when a hitter has good success against a pitcher in his career, he's said to own that guy. Well, Tino Martinez has the pink slip on Bobby Jones. 6 for 8 with 2 home runs, 2 doubles, 6 RBIs. This is exactly where the Mets want Tino Martinez, either leading off an inning or at the plate with 2 outs and nobody on base.
Bobby Jones has him set up at a ball and 2 strikes. And puts him away. Strikeout number 1 and out number 1 here in the 2nd.
Number 21.
Looks like a 2-seam fastball that goes away from Tino Martinez after coming inside a couple of times. Just read the 2 seams, can't you?
Tino Martinez, a shake of the head, and here's Paul O'Neill. Bob Brenly talked about Paul O'Neill, what he's done in this postseason, getting better and better with each round. Getting a chance to star here in the World Series, 7 out of 12 with 2 runs batted in. 1 out, nobody on, and that's ripped down into the right field corner. Another hit for O'Neill. Perez can't cut it off, and O'Neill's thinking about going to 3rd. He'll try it. He'll make it as Perez missed the initial cutoff man. O'Neill at 3rd with only 1 out.
Had Perez hit the first cutoff man, Edgardo Alfonso, the Mets would have had a chance at O'Neill at 3rd base. The ball, once it gets by Perez, O'Neill says, with 1 out, I'm taking a chance. None out, 2 outs, I'll stay at 2nd. Perez's throw, as Joe said, misses Alfonso, and O'Neill goes in standing up. Paul O'Neill did not have a triple during the regular season, and he has 2 in 2 games here at Shea Stadium.
Well, during August and September, O'Neill hit only .229. Only .231 during the Division Series and the American League Championship Series, and now in the World Series, .615. They're going to peel back at 2nd to see if O'Neill hit the bag on his way by. He did, as Jerry Crawford gives the safe sign, and O'Neill's at 3rd now officially with 1 out.
Paul O'Neill touching the bag, but you wonder who saw this, because the double cutoff was the second baseman and shortstop. So
I'm not so sure he hit the bag.
Oh, I thought he did. I thought he hit the inside part of the bag. It appeared. But the interesting thing is who called that? Did the bench call it because the shortstop and second baseman were out for the cutoff? They certainly didn't see it. Ventura had to stay at third. Zeal had to stay at first. So who called the appeal?
Well, Bobby Valentine trotted out there and talked to Bobby Jones about what they would do with Posada. The intentional walk is the answer there, and I'm sure as he went out there said something about checking and appealing back to second base. If O'Neill did hit second base, it was close.
Yeah, that's where you're supposed to touch it, either the right or left foot, depending on where the stride lands. Inside part of the bag. I guess from the bench or from the Mets bench, you could see that it looked like he may have missed it. But the Yankees use a safety squeeze. Bob and I talked about it last night in situations just like this.
A step to third, a look to first. Brocious did not tip his hand at the plate if he was going to square around. He is hitting only .209 in this postseason. 2 out of 8 in the World Series. Big rip, strike one. A 1-out triple by O'Neill.
Come on, bro.
And then the intentional walk to Posada.
I guess we should explain the difference between a suicide squeeze and a safety squeeze. Suicide squeeze, the runner on third. As we look at the batting average of Scott Brocious, runner on third breaks immediately, and on a safety squeeze he waits until the ball is put down with the bunt.
Runners at first and third, 1 out, and that's inside, a ball and a strike. Denny Nagel waits to hit next. Yankees trying to add to their second inning lead. It's 1-0. Posada takes off at first, and that fly ball into right center field. O'Neill will tag and score, and going all the way back to first with 2 out now on a sac fly by Brocious is Posada, and it's 2-0 Yankees here in the second.
Little confusion in right center field. O'Neill scoring easily. The hit and run was on then. Bench is yelling, or those on the bench are yelling at Posada to get back to first. He got back easily.
Denny Nagel now with a runner at first, 2 out. A career 153 hitter, and he takes a strike.
There's Posada taking off. He didn't look back, and that's dangerous. You have to find out where the ball is. Otherwise, you rely on the shortstop or the second baseman. But Posada did get back because of that confusion in right center.
Shortstop and second baseman don't always tell the truth.
No, they don't. Here's Scott Brocious trying to help Posada. Jorge. Get the rope out. There's Larry Mahan when you need him.
So Brocious delivers the RBI, his third RBI of this World Series, and now Denny Nagel is set up at 0-2. At the beginning of this World Series, there was some speculation that for Game 4, Joe Torre might go with the sentimental pick and call on David Cone to start this game. He started with the Mets, but he goes with Nagel, and so far, Nagel and the Yankees lead 2-0 in the second. David Cone, the reason why Joe Torre would go with Cone, the numbers on the right. Career postseason numbers, 8-3 with a good ERA, 4 World Series rings. The reason on the left, the numbers on the left, the reason why Joe Torre went with Denny Nagel. A 4-14 record during the regular season. Little high, 2 balls, 2 strikes on Nagel. That's too far inside and a full count. That means that Posada will take off at first.
Excellent base running by Paul O'Neill. Obviously, if Paul O'Neill's on second instead of third, he doesn't score on that ball to right center by Brocious.
Runner goes, 3-2 pitch. You can see Denny Nagel gets a pretty good swing.
Denny has 3 major league home runs to his credit in his career. He didn't have any this year with Cincinnati.
Again, the 3-2. Nagel strikes out. Second strikeout of the inning in the game for Bobby Jones, but more damage. A 1-out triple by O'Neill, scored on a sac fly by Brocious. 2-0 Yankees in the second.
Fox is brought to you by Pepsi, the joy of cola and the choice of Major League Baseball, and by American General Financial Group. Live the life you've imagined.
We welcome you back to Shea Stadium. Bottom of the second inning. The Mets will come to the plate. Ventura, Agbayani, and Payton against Denny Nagel. I was just sitting here thinking during the break that Major League Baseball stadiums are a place where young and old come together and are forced to listen to the same music at blaring volumes. Music that most of the crowd would never listen to. And most get into it. Imagine some guy showing up on Wall Street tomorrow humming Who Let the Dogs Out. 2-0 the Yankees lead, and the breaking ball's in for a strike to Robin Ventura.
That's a remake of a Glenn Miller rendition back in the late 30s,
right.
isn't it?
That's right. Da-da-da-da-da, who let the dogs out? Da-da-da-da-da.
Or was it Dorsey?
One of the two. No balls, 1 strike. Had him played perfectly. Jeter. Little hop to his left, 1 out. That will bring in Benny Agbayani. Last night, 8th inning. Line drive into the gap in left center field all the way to the wall, and with plenty of help from his friends in the dugout, Zeal scored all the way from first. Mets were up 3-2 and won at 4-2. So Agbayani bats here, and in the postseason hitting .349. That's high, ball 1.
We asked Joe Torre before the game the most impressive thing about Benny Agbayani. He said his fearlessness.
1 ball, 1 strike.
Not awed by the pressures of the postseason.
And to be honest, Bobby Valentine has always been the one in Benny Agbayani's corner.
He certainly has.
Starting with their time together at AAA in 1996, which is where Bobby Valentine was managing at the time, and Agbayani was about on his way out of this organization. Bobby Valentine had seen him the previous spring and said, why don't you start lifting that front leg? Get a little more pop when you swing the bat. He's always been a favorite of Valentine's. And that favoritism has been rewarded with some big hits down the stretch and in this postseason.
It was Bobby's take on Benny that he was too big to be a gap hitter, that he could hit home runs by lifting that leg.
Full count.
And Benny Agbayani started hitting home runs over in Tokyo when the Mets and the Cubs opened this 2000 season over there at the Tokyo Dome. You may remember back on March 30th, Benny Agbayani with the game-winning grand slam home run, repaying Bobby Valentine's loyalty.
3-2 pitch is high, a 1-out walk. Let's go back to Tokyo, March 30th. A pinch hit grand slam, top of the 11th inning against Danny Young of the Chicago Cubs. The Mets won that game 5-1, and we've talked about it before. The only reason Agbayani was even available and a part of that series was because of a roster exemption. Major League Baseball let the Mets and Cubs carry extra players with them because they started the season early, and because of the travel over to Japan, they gave him 2 extra players, and Agbayani was there and available. Plan was for him to start the season at AAA. Here's Payton, and there's a little flare down the right field line. Slicing, and it's fair. Down to second is Agbayani. A floater base hit from Payton, and the first Mets hit of the night. A walk, a single, and the Mets have 2 on with 1 out.
That's inexperience on Agbayani's part. And Benny checked where O'Neill was standing, and look at the line, and look at and determine how hard the ball is hit. He should be on third base, and would be on third base. Too passive right here. Bottom part of the order coming up. Take a chance. Then he didn't.
So now it's Bordick. Bordick turned in 2 good at bats last night. His first 2 at bats against El Duque. Fly to the track and left and singled. Third at bat, struck out with the bases loaded, 1 out in the 6th inning. An RBI chance here, and he takes high, ball 1. Tying runs on Agbayani at second, Payton at first with 1 out. Bordick only 4 of 31 with 0 runs batted in the postseason. And Nagel falls behind him 2-0. Bobby Jones, a light hitting pitcher, waits to bat next. Billy Connors, the pitching coach for the Yankees, on your right, studying Nagel, who has to lay one into Bordick. 2-1. Yankees got a leadoff home run from Jeter in the first. A 1-out triple by O'Neill, who scored on a sac fly by Brocious in the second. Two balls and a strike on Bordick. And a pop-up behind second base. Infield fly rule in effect as Soho puts it away. 2 out. Bordick's struggles continue. And it's 2 on with 2 out for Bobby Jones.
Yeah, Mike going after a pitch out of the strike zone, and instead of it being 3-1 and a good situation to hit, he pops it up. That was a ball too high. You could see Mike struggling, getting the good part of the bat through the strike zone.
That's a frustrated hitter going after a pitch that he can't handle.
Especially when he's ahead in the count.
Bobby Jones now an 0.45 average during the regular season. How do you hit 0.45? You go 2 out of 44. 0 for 6 in the postseason this year. Runners at first and second, 2 out.
Every pitcher that starts a game longs to go either 0 for 3 or 0 for 4, because that means he's had 3 or 4 at bats, and if you have 3 or 4 at bats, you've gone deep into the game.
Strike 2. Jones had 4 at bats in that Game 4 start in the division series because of his 1-hit shutout, the 4-0 victory to put the Mets in the National League Championship Series for the 2nd straight year. Set up here at 0-2. 2 on, 2 out. Scooped up by Posada, ball 1. The Yankees in the third will have the top of the order. Jeter, Soho, and Justice. Yankees parted with a number of good young players 4 to be exact, to get Denny Nagel back in July from Cincinnati. Jones sticks the bat out, pops it up. Tino Martinez there. And that'll do it for the Mets here in the second. A walk, a single, 2 left. Mets have stranded 3. 2-0 Yankees. Back after this from your local Fox station.
At GMC, we know what it.
Bobby Jones back to the mound. Bob Brenly is back in the good seats tonight at Shea Stadium, and he is standing by. Bob.
Well, thank you very much, Joe. Great seat for the ball game tonight. The guy sitting next to me isn't too crazy about the people sitting around him, but sitting right next to Alex Rodriguez as he watches his counterpart Derek Jeter move to the plate.
That'll be the hot topic over the offseason. Where will Alex Rodriguez end up? Back in Seattle? Will he come here to New York? Will it be Shea Rod, his best friend Derek Jeter, or one of his best friends? Everybody automatically says his best friend Derek Jeter. They're good friends. Is this city big enough for both of them? Jeter led off in the first inning with a home run. He takes a ball upstairs. I think we ought to keep an eye on Brenly down there, Tim, and see if he's sweet talking A-Rod. Did the Diamondbacks need a shortstop? 2-0.
Well, whoever gets Alex Rodriguez is going to get what a lot of people consider the best player in the game. I think one of the things that makes him the best player of the game is he plays one of the most important defensive positions in the game. What a talent.
2 balls, no strikes. Jeter leading off, and he shoots one into right center field. Pretty well hit. Perez on the run, won't get there. A hop off the wall, and Jeter will cruise to third base. A leadoff triple for Derek Jeter to start the third.
Alex approves as Derek Jeter in the first 3 innings gets the first 2 hits, the toughest 2 hits of a cycle. He homered his first at bat and now triples. Fortunately for the Yankees and Jeter, the ball short hops the fence instead of going over the fence. It has enough hang time to allow Jeter to get to third. He had 4 triples during the regular season. And as you can see, he was his own base running coach.
Alex Rodriguez watching it. Stayed in play, and Jeter's at third. Now Soho up there swinging, strike 1. So the Yankees already lead 2-0. And Soho or Justice or Williams will have a chance to make it even sweeter. 2-1. The Yankees lead in this 2000 World Series, and they lead 2-0 here tonight.
Infield back right now. If they get another strike on Soho with the count 0-2, 1-2, they may bring the infield in.
Bobby Jones tonight greeted with a blast by Jeter in the first inning. Glendon Rush is getting ready for the Mets out in their bullpen. 1 ball, 1 strike on Soho. Runner at third, nobody out. Strike 2 over the outside corner. A ball and 2 strikes.
Nice curveball from Bobby Jones at the knees on the corner. Infield for the Mets will break in with 2 strikes on the batter.
To the right side, a run scores. Jeter to the plate. RBI ground out by Soho, and it's 3-0 Yankees in the third.
That's one of those situations. We saw it last night where you bring the offside of the infield in, particularly with 2 strikes on Soho. Had it been in, well, then Derek Jeter doesn't try to score. In fact, Alfonso would probably have caught that ball in the air. But Bobby Valentine elects to play the infield back on the right side, and Jeter scores the third run of the ball game.
So bases empty, 1 out. Now David Justice, who flied to right on a ball off the end of the bat his first time, takes ball 1. Justice only hitting .218 during the postseason, 3 home runs, including that big one in Game 6 of the American League Championship Series. Put the Yankees on top for good. 2-0. Derek Jeter now has played in 18 World Series games, and he has scored 18 runs. Two and 1. Bobby Jones from Fresno, California, Fresno High School, same high school that produced Tom Seaver. 25-game winner back in 1969 with the Miracle Mets. 3 balls and a strike on Justice.
Bobby met Tom Seaver when he pitched at Cooperstown in the Hall of Fame game, when the year that Tom Seaver was inducted into the Hall of Fame in 1993.
That was Bobby's first taste of big league baseball. He was an all-star back in '97, a 15-game winner. This year with that strong second half was an 11-game winner, 11-6. He's behind on the count to Justice, 3-1. To the right side for Zeal. 2 out. So Justice 0 for 2. And Bobby Jones will work to Bernie Williams. The New York Yankees, world champions in 1996. World champions in 1998, 1999, and yet here is their cleanup hitter in Bernie Williams, who was 0 for 1 tonight, 0 for his last 19 in World Series play, and in now 18 games played in the World Series is hitting less than 125.
I think Bernie is taking too many first pitches, as you saw Brian Cashman, the GM of the Yankees. Bernie has been to the plate 16 times in this World Series, and he's taken the first pitch for a strike 8 times. Usually Bernie's much more aggressive than that.
1 ball, no strikes. Now 2-0. Williams coming off a career year production wise with 30 home runs, 121 RBIs. Tino Martinez, who is red hot, waits on deck. Jones allowed a run in the first, a run in the second, 1 here in the 3rd inning, and the 2-0 pitch. 2 balls and a strike.
Bernie missing the 2-0 fastball. Generally speaking, when pitchers are behind, they will work hitters away. When you're behind in the count, it's not a good time to come inside.
That's out of play. And the count 2-2. Top of the order for the Mets in the bottom of this 3rd inning, and they will be at least 3 runs down. The 2-2 to Williams. Popped into shallow center. Payton puts it away. Williams and the Yankees finished in the 3rd. So far, the Derek Jeter show. A home run back in the 1st. A leadoff triple and a run scored here in the 3rd. Bottom of the 3rd. Top of the order for the Mets. They trail the Yankees by 3.
I can't do this.
Yes, you can.
He can have it all.
Give it everything.
Will Smith, Matt Damon, Charlize Theron in a Robert Redford film. The Legend of Bagger Vance. Rated PG-13. Starts Friday, November 3rd.
Office products fast. Express ordering from OfficeMax.com. You supply the ambition, we'll supply everything else.
We'd like to show you scenes of the new series from the award-winning creator of Sex and the City, but kids may be watching.
Wow, isn't that a crime?
The Street premieres next Wednesday on.
First pitch of the bottom of the third is a breaking ball in for strike one to Timo Perez, who struck out in the first inning, 1 out of 14 in the World Series, after hitting a combined 300 in the LCS and the Division Series. Chasing that pitch, it's 0-2. On deck is Alfonso and then Piazza. 3-0 the Yankees lead, bottom of inning number 3. Game 4, 0-2 pitch. Ball 1.
Denny Nagel trying to expand the zone on the wild swinging Perez. He's seen 6 pitches, 5 strikes in his first 2 at-bats.
Off the hands, and it's still 1-2. Here's a guy who was as important as any player for the Mets in the first 2 rounds of the playoffs, scoring 10 runs, stealing 3 bases in the first 2 rounds, and in this World Series, just 1 hit, no run scored. Up the middle, a leadoff base hit. That's how the bottom of the 3rd inning begins for the Mets. Well, you saw the promo for the new show on Fox, The Street, the creator of Sex and the City. Next Wednesday, 9 Eastern, 8 Central. Bridget Wilson, Mrs. Pete Sampras on the far right, Jennifer Connelly and Rick Hoffman, stars of the new Fox show, The Street. That'll be for you on Wednesday. Next Wednesday, 9 Eastern, 8 Central. Right now, it's Edgardo Alfonso. Runner at first, nobody out. Ball 1. This Shea crowd is trying to climb back into the action.
They've got the right guys up to do it, too. Alfonso, then Piazza.
To the third baseman, Brocious. Thought about second. Fires to first. 1 out. Down to second is Perez.
Number 31, Mike Piazza.
That'll bring in Piazza. During the season, when the Yankees made the acquisition and brought Denny Nagel aboard, the report was that Nagel rejected a 4-year deal for $36 million. And then about that time, when the contract talks broke off, Denny Nagel started to fall apart on the mound for the Yankees. Mentioned earlier, he lost 4 straight decisions at the end of August, beginning of September, and lost his last 3 starts of the regular season. Runner at second, 1 out. Piazza, ball 1. These big games, and obviously they don't get any bigger than World Series games. He made 1 decent start in the ALCS, 1 not so good. But these count a little more than a regular season start at Tampa Bay, so we could make up for a lot of those struggles with a good one here tonight.
A lot of players break down when money is talked about during the season. You say, well, he has an agent, but the agent often confers with the player. Can't directly blame it on that, but it could have had something to do with that.
Piazza gets into one to left field. Back at the wall. Goodbye. 2-run homer Piazza. It's a 1-run game. pretty good idea of just how strong he is.
Unbelievable. The first time up, he had a ball out of the ballpark. Foul. This one, fair. Hits it on one leg. One leg.
Zeal. Ball one.
Here it is right here. You can see that back leg right there. Front leg, change up, gone. Very few people who have ever played the game are that strong. Man.
2-0 on Zeal. Lasorda with a ceremonial first pitch last night along with Lisa Fernandez. Lifelong friends with Mike Piazza's father, Vince.
Two guys from Norristown, Pennsylvania, right outside Philadelphia.
Zeal on 2-1 is jammed, and that's a foul ball. The crowd saying, "Run, Todd, run," but it's 2-2. And Tommy Lasorda, his relationship with Bobby Valentine is well known, manager of these Mets. There are some rumors that if Bobby Valentine, if it is delayed, a contract offer here from the Mets, that the Dodgers will try to sneak in and get something done. Former first-round draft pick of the Dodgers back in '68. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 1 out, nobody on. Foul off the foot of Zeal.
Back in 1968, in that draft, first of all, the Major League draft started in 1965. Then in '68, Bobby Valentine was drafted 5th. The number 4 draft was taken by the New York Yankees, and it was Thurman Munson right ahead of Bobby. Had he not broken his leg, that horrible compound fracture in 1973, he would have been a terrific Major League Baseball player.
Bobby Valentine reminded of that accident every time he gets dressed in the morning. A reminder there on his leg. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 1 out, nobody on, and Zeal took ball 3 up and away. Bobby Valentine was a tremendous athlete, good football player. Stamford, Connecticut. Three balls, 2 strikes on Zeal.
Todd realizing he missed his pitch there. Right up in his wheelhouse. Todd Zeal looks for a ball to jerk, and he had one there.
One out. 2 runs home for the Mets, who trail by 1. And Zeal reaching for it, pops it up. Soho, 2 out. Let's look at Joe Torre as a Major League player. 1960 to 1968 with the Milwaukee and the Atlanta Braves, and then the great years with the Cardinals, National League MVP in 1971. He hit .363. Player manager with the Mets in 1977. After playing here from 75 to 77, and he managed here with the Mets until 81. 2 years, 1977, 1978, he managed Bobby Valentine, who was a New York Met. 2 out, nobody on, 1 ball, no strikes. Robin Ventura, 2-0.
The year Joe Torre was the MVP in '71, he had 230 hits for the Cardinals, and not a 1 was an infield hit. He must have hit 400 line drives that year.
Hard hit ball to first off the bat of Ventura. Into the glove of Tino Martinez. A pitch from Denny Nagel onto the bat of Mike Piazza. And with that, it's a 1-run game. After 3, in Game 4. A 3-2 Yankee lead as this game gets to the middle innings. Fourth inning, Tino Martinez, Paul O'Neill, and Jorge Posada. Easy to recap what's happened so far. A leadoff home run by Jeter in the first. He was busy later in the third. The leadoff triple and scored on an RBI groundout by Soho. Between those two innings, a one-out triple by Paul O'Neill as Tino Martinez bloops one into shallow right center for a base hit. Sac fly for Brocious in this game. It's a 3-2 score and a leadoff hit for the Yankees. It belongs to Tino Martinez. Our St. Paul Company's trivia question: 14 years ago today, the Mets won Game 6 of the 1986 World Series. Who was the winning pitcher? Did you do that series, by the way?
No, I did not. Did the National League Championship Series. Our producer, Mike Wiseman, was the producer for NBC. Vin Scully, Joe Garagiola with the coverage.
That Game 6 rather memorable.
Oh.
And that action taking place right here on this field at Shea. Still makes you shake your head, doesn't it?
It really does.
One on with nobody out, and here is Paul O'Neill. Mets can't figure him out. Ball one up and away. O'Neill, a triple, a run scored. 8 out of 13 in this World Series. Facing Bobby Jones. Since that dominating performance, the one hitter in Game 4 of the division series against the Giants. 7+ innings. Big numbers. Tough short hop. Good play. And out at second as Ventura took a risk and it paid off. Tino Martinez out on the force out. 5-4.
I think Tino Martinez slid too early. When he slid, he stopped. I think it was a good call by Jerry Crawford, the second base umpire. In between hop, Ventura double clutch, and now the throw to second base. Thought he had him. Yeah, he's out. One more look. He's out. Good call by Jerry Crawford, but Martinez sliding too early. If he takes another half step, I think he makes it.
Joe Torre right out of the dugout. But the replays verify that Jerry Crawford made the right call. Runner at first, one out. And now Jorge Posada bats. And a check on O'Neill.
Joe, how many third basemen would make that play? Almost all third basemen would go to first base on that play.
I'm thinking of two guys, and they're both in this game.
That's right. Scott Brocious and Robin Ventura. 6 Gold Gloves to his credit, and you just saw one of the reasons why.
Now O'Neill's running, hit and run, and a bouncer to Alfonso. Jones to the bag. What a play, 2 out.
Oh my goodness, what a play by Alfonso. Watch Todd Zeile come off the bag, high chopper with O'Neill running. Zeile can't get to it. You talk about anticipation. Just a terrific play by a terrific second baseman. Boy, that's nice.
Edgardo Alfonso to his left. Feeding Jones to the bag, and now with first base open after that terrific defensive play. 2 in this inning. One on the left side by Ventura, this one by Alfonso. The decision is easy as Brocious gets the intentional walk. It'll be up to Denny Nagel with 2 on, 2 out, trying to add to a 3-2 Yankee lead. Second intentional pass of the night handed out by the Mets.
I think the only other second baseman, perhaps, that gets to that ball is Robbie Alomar of the Cleveland Indians. Remember that World Series in 1993, the play that Robbie Alomar made behind first base on a ball that didn't have a lot of hang time. And when he ended up, he was almost on the line. Extraordinary range for those two.
Now 2 on 2 out for Nagel, who struck out his first time up. Ball 1 high from Jones. Nagel 7 out of 37 at the plate this season with 3 RBIs. In his career, we mentioned a 153 hitter, 3 home runs, 34 RBIs. That's foul. 1 ball, 1 strike. Lee Mazzilli, who was a part of that '86 World Series with the Mets, played here with the Mets from '76 to '81 and again from '86 to '89. Now the first base coach for Joe Torre.
Broke in under Joe Torre.
Two runners on for the Yankees, who have stranded only 1 tonight. They lead by a run here in the 4th inning. Outside corner, strike 2. Agbayani, Payton, and Bordick will bat for the Mets in the bottom of the inning. Rick White getting ready if he's needed. In the air to right field. Perez back to get it. Went a long way, but finds the glove of the 23-year-old rookie. Denny Nagel flies out. The Yankees lead 2. Edgardo Alfonzo, pride of Venezuela. Good play to his left. Good defense in the inning by the Mets, who trail by 1.
Hit and run.
The St. Paul Company's trivia question. 14 years ago today, the Mets won Game 6 of the 1986 World Series. Who was the winning pitcher? The answer, Rick Aguilera. Pitched the final 2 innings, and here's how the game ended with Bob Stanley on the mound. A 5-5 game. The roller by Mookie Wilson. It got through Buckner. Didn't think we could do a World Series game here at Shea Stadium and not show this. But as Red Sox fans wince and cringe across the country, that's how that game ended, and it was Rick Aguilera getting the victory for the Mets.
Our ratings in Boston just dropped 2 points.
That's right. I never liked them anyway. 2 balls, no strikes on Agbayani. Payton and Bordick will follow. 3-2, the Yankees lead. Mookie Wilson.
Most popular player in Met history, Mookie Wilson.
Looked like he was in REM sleep there for a second.
Rapid eye movement.
Yes. All-time leader with his franchise in the stolen base department, 281. He would like to welcome Agbayani down to first base. 3 balls, no strikes. And Nagel pours it in there, 3-1.
Fastball hitter, and Nagel has to stay away from the fat part of the plate. Payton on deck.
To the right side, down the line. Slicing foul. Tino Martinez. What a catch. 1 out. Wow, what a play by Tino Martinez.
What a play by Martinez. Near the stands, having to come back to his left, checking out the stands. What a set of hands right here. Folks, that's hard to do right there.
So that's the first out of the bottom of the 4th, and a wow out of Joe Torre on that as well. Jay Payton now, who singled his first time up. Ball 1.
Got 2 terrific defensive first basemen in the American League. John Olerud with the Seattle Mariners, and Tino Martinez. Tino Martinez is among the best right-handed throwing first basemen that I've seen in some time.
There's some good ones in the game today, like Andres Galarraga, Right-handed throwing first baseman Jeff Bagwell of the Houston Astros. Tino Martinez for these Yankees. Doesn't get a lot of credit for being a good first baseman, but he is. 1 ball, 1 strike on Peyton. 1 out, nobody on. Up the middle, a 1-out single, and it almost took Nagel's hat with it. 1 on, 1 out with Bordick coming up. And we go upstairs. This live view of the 2000 Subway Series, courtesy of the Bud One airship. Seen by millions on its ongoing Goodwill Tour. Budweiser, the official beer of Major League Baseball and the World Series.
Denny Nagel 6'3½", and sometimes it does not pay to be tall if you're a pitcher. You'd rather be about 5 inches shorter for this reason. Get down.
A visit from pitching coach Billy Connors. And by the way, while you watch Billy Connors, who is the fill-in pitching coach for Mel Stottlemyre, Bordick will stand in. It was nice to hear from Joe Torre that Mel Stottlemyre is feeling so well he's been cleared to swing the golf club and go to the driving range. Joe Torre's face lights up when he gives the reports on the health of Mel Stottlemyre, who underwent stem cell transplant surgery. 1 on, 1 out, Bordick. Ball 1.
Bobby Jones has come out to the on-deck circle. The Mets have Jason Grimsley and David Cone, 2 right-handers warming up. The Yankees, I beg your pardon. And the Mets had Rick White warming up in the top of the 4th inning, but no one is warming now.
2-0.
Bobby Jones will be facing the top of the lineup with Derek Jeter, who has already homered and tripled against Bobby. I think had Nagel gotten on, then Bobby Valentine would have brought in Rick White. So if you're going to bring him in the top of the 4th inning, why not pinch hit for Bobby Jones right now?
Still could happen.
Yeah.
A strike into Bordick. It's 2-1. The situation might dictate whether the Mets will use a pinch hitter, and a lot depends on what Bordick does here with a 2-ball, 1-strike count. Runner at first, 1 out. McEwing with a helmet on. Bordick pops it into left. Justice coming to get it. 2 out.
With McEwing getting ready, Bobby Jones looking back to the dugout. Had Bordick gotten on base, I feel relatively sure that McEwing would have been the hitter. But because Bordick made an out, then Jones will hit for himself. It's funny how an out by your team keeps you in the ball game.
That's right. So Bobby Jones will bat. 2 hits that counted during the calendar year as he chops it foul. Strike 1. This copyrighted telecast presented by authority of the Commissioner of Baseball and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without expressed written consent of Major League Baseball. No balls, 1 strike on Bobby Jones. Now strike 2. Jones is gone, and so are the Mets. A 1-out single by Peyton. The Mets strand their 4th of the night, and as Game 4 goes to the 5th inning, the Yankees lead it by 1. It's 3-2.
On Fox is brought to you by the St. Paul Companies, property and liability insurance for business without question. St. Paul. By Chrysler, we're reinventing the passion for driving. By Coors Light, proud partner of the John Wayne Cancer Institute in their search for a cure. And by Fujitsu. The possibilities are infinite.
Welcome back to Shea Stadium. This game goes to the 5th inning. Game 4. A few commissioners on hand here tonight for Game 4. Paul Tagliabue, the NFL commissioner. Bud Selig, Gary Bettman in a leather jacket, NHL commissioner. They join the list of stars. The long list of those who have graced this 14th Subway Series with their presence. Here is Derek Jeter, who has homered. He's tripled. He takes a strike. Go ahead and say it. No player has ever
hit for a cycle in postseason play. And Derek Jeter has the 2 most difficult hits of a cycle, a home run and a triple.
No balls, 1 strike. Jones drops down a little bit. That's out of play. Strike 2. Jones is saying, well, he's tattooed me twice with a home run and a triple the opposite way off the wall, so I'll change my arm angle. 0-2.
Both have been high fastballs. One was inside on the first pitch of the ball game. The other over the middle of the plate. That Jeter hit to right center field.
Derek Jeter trying to reach base for the 3rd consecutive time. Ball 1. Joe Torre will tell you that he will prefer and does prefer having Jeter bat in the number 2 spot. But he's proven tonight, leading off 2 different innings, that he's not a bad choice at the leadoff spot either. He could hit anywhere. Any spot in this order. That's on the outside corner. Not according to Jeter, but according to Tim Welke, 1 out.
Derek thought it was outside, but because Piazza is sitting there, you're going to get that pitch. With a pitcher being that far ahead, 1 ball and 2 strikes, you see Jeter did not agree with home plate umpire Tim Welke. But if a catcher sits there, even though it's off the plate just a hair, you'll get that pitch.
Ball 1 now to Soho. In case you're wondering if anybody's come close to a cycle, back in 1968, our good friend Lou Brock came close. Game 4. A double, a triple, and a home run. Did not have the single. 1 ball, no strikes, 1 out, nobody on. Name dropping. Always name dropping.
You have to. It's a World Series.
I guess so. 2 balls, no strikes. Soho an RBI in this game. His 8th of this postseason. And Bobby Jones is pitching to him like name any one of Yankee stars from years gone by. Being extra careful now. Ball 4, and on 4 straight, the first unintentional walk of the night, and it goes to Luis Soho. 1 on, 1 out. Coming up tonight and every night, it's the 11 p.m. regional sports report on Fox Sports Net. 30 minutes of nightly sports news completely dedicated to local home teams. Check out the 11 p.m. regional sports report nightly, only on Fox Sports Net on your local cable or satellite provider.
If you're Bobby Valentine, you got to be thinking about getting Glendon Rush back up. He was up earlier, and with the left-handed hitters coming up for the Yankees after Bernie Williams, you have Tino Martinez and Paul O'Neill back-to-back. You don't want Jones facing them.
You saw him walk in to go warm up before you said that. Come on.
Well, that's what promos are for.
That's right.
When you do that, when you're reading that, I can look at the bullpen. Makes me look good.
Now would be the perfect time for Rutsch. It's like Dick Vitale. They need a TO, baby. Well, he's watching the coach call for timeout. 1 on, 1 out. Justice, ball 1.
Those are little tricks of the non-promo reading trade.
That's right. Hey, whatever works, man. You've been around this a lot longer than me. Yankees leading 3-2. Game 4, 1 on, 1 out. Justice. Checked his swing, 2-0.
His body swung, but his bat didn't. Good call. No way you're going to send the runner in this situation. A power hitter like Justice, 41 home runs on the year. You want him to choose his pitch and hack.
On the outside corner, a good 2-0 pitch to make it 2-1.
Again, when you're behind in the count, keep the ball away, particularly from the big guys.
Away and down, and hope you get a call. Go to first, and the runner gets back. You've got Bernie Williams on deck. Then Tino Martinez, then Paul O'Neill. Tim talking about the presence of Glendon Rush out in the bullpen. Jones could be facing his last batter depending on what happens here. 2 balls and a strike. Now 3-1. At the very least, a decision coming up for Bobby Valentine if Justice should reach. Jones pitching in the 5th inning, up to 74 pitches on the night.
Again, this is not a time to send the runner. Joe Torre does that occasionally, but usually it's guys like Soho hitting, Brocious hitting, or O'Neill hitting, not with a power guy.
Throw over, and after spinning his wheels, Soho falls back in safely.
Remember, we were kidding in the first game about those offensive counts, those Don Rickles counts,
Yes.
2-0,
The
3-0,
Dennis Leary
3-1.
counts, yeah.
Yep, this is one right here. This is when the hitter is at his most offensive.
There goes the runner, and a ground ball to the right side. Alfonso makes the play, gets the out. Sensational play by Edgardo Alfonso, 2 out.
He is all over the place. The play he made the last inning on Posada, and now the dive, and he gets to his knee quickly to throw out Justice. Extension, quick throw, got him. If that ball is through there, the Yankees have runners on 1st and 3rd, and only 1 out. Huge play for the Mets.
Every last piece of Rawlings leather used on that play by Edgardo Alfonso. And now with a runner at second, Soho, and 2 out. Bernie Williams, who since game 3 of the '99 World Series, 0 for his last 20 in World Series at bats. Strike 1. He went up there and swung at the first pitch.
We mentioned his last at bat that he had not been aggressive. Bernie whacks his helmet, as several major league players are
Did you ever
apt
do that?
to do. No. I didn't like getting hit in the head at all with the bat, the ball, or runners.
0-1, the count on Williams. Here are the Yankees looking for 3 consecutive World Series victories. 98, 99, 2000, and their cleanup hitter, Bernie Williams. Last RBI during the World Series was game 4 in 1998 against San Diego. A .121 career hitter in the World Series. Runner at second, 2 out, and an 0-2 count on Williams. Now Williams backs out. Little game going on between Jones and Williams. Jones waits. Williams steps out. Jones steps off. Now we're ready. A ball and 2 strikes. Still waiting. Bernie Williams says enough. He gets time again. Two and 2.
4 fastballs. Tino Martinez on deck. 3 fastballs away and 1 fastball up and in. I would imagine Jones and Piazza will go back outside to Williams. Runner on at second base. As a catcher, you set up as late as you can, but still give your pitcher a good target. Back inside.
A pretty good rip. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Lee Mazzilli, the first base coach of the Yankees, is a little tired of watching Edgardo Alfonzo take hits away from his players.
Todd, I'm getting tired of seeing that now. I'm getting tired of seeing that. Every other play.
Fields going, I can't hear you. What? Played third. He could play short. He's an all-star second baseman. Runner at second, 2 out. 3-2 Yankees, 5th inning, and a 2-2 count on Bernie Williams. That's foul. And big over the top hook.
That's the first curveball that Jones has thrown Williams in this ball game. And Bernie had a swing at it like he wasn't expecting it.
Jones trying to figure out a way to get through the top of the 5th. Runner at second with 2 out. Jones again steps off. Two to Williams. Right at the shortstop Bordick. Bernie Williams thinking, what do I have to do? Now 0 for his last 21. In World Series play. Edgardo Alfonzo tonight, 2 terrific plays. That in the 4th, this in the 5th. Halfway through game 4, 3-2 Yankees. World Series 2000. This is game 4. And we're halfway through game 4. The weather up here, I know I keep saying this, but it's stunning how pleasant it's been through the month of October.
What a shot that was. Of the Empire State Building.
Timo Perez leads it off, was inching up. One of those slap swings, and he took strike 1.
Empire State Building with Met colors and Yankee colors.
Oh, and 1 the count. Fly ball into right for Paul O'Neill. 1 away. Perez 1 out of 3. The batter will be Edgardo Alfonzo. While you're up here and you're covering a Subway World Series, for someone like myself, someone who wasn't around and somebody who wasn't a witness to some of those Subway World Series, it is a treat to get the different dailies, the different papers, and not only read about, as you see some of the writers hard at work here tonight at Shea Stadium, not only read about the series that we're covering here in 2000, but also to read about those great Subway series in that stretch. We talked about it during the National League Championship Series from 1947 to 1956, a 10-year span when there were 7 Subway series. The newspapers and the dailies up here were so heavily involved. The energy that just jumped off those pages as Alfonso pops one down the right field line. O'Neill into the corner. 2 out. And the names of some of the greats, writers and the columnists, those old Subway Series days, time when there were multi-editions. As Piazza walks in, Joe Torre walks out. We may have a pitching change here in the bottom of the 5th inning. So before Piazza bats, we'll continue talking about this series and its history when we come back. Nagel's finished in the 5th.
Surprisingly, many online brokers use very little online technology. They simply send your order to Wall Street, where it's processed the old way. Daytech Online, however, has created powerful technology that lays waste to the old guard. Is your online broker even trading online? Daytech Online, built to trade.
Do you remember anything after being scanned?
A human was cloned. That human was you.
Well, you cloned the wrong man. They'll do anything to destroy the evidence. And you're the evidence.
Daddy? How do you know? He's not you, and you're not him.
I know who I am.
The Sixth Day, rated PG-13. Opens everywhere November 17th.
Believe it or not, many online brokers still rely on the technology of yesteryear. Is your online broker even trading online? Daytech Online, built to trade.
Chris was like my shadow. She was always there. For 3 years, she'd drive down from her job at Kraft to tutor me. My grades went way up.
For 40 years, the Philip Morris companies, including Kraft, have given to programs like Chicago's Off the Street Club, and our employees have volunteered their time to help make a difference in people's lives.
When she left to have a baby, I told her I hoped she'd have a daughter. She already did a great job helping to raise a son.
Working to make a difference, the people of Philip Morris.
With Daytech Online, most trades are executed in mere seconds. In fact, Daytech pledges to execute your marketable online order within 60 seconds or the commission's waived. Find out more at daytech.com. Daytech Online, built to trade.
He's got to be here somewhere.
I have seen things that I can't explain.
I'm not going to solve the route. I know what I saw.
We're going to find him.
Look at the stunned expression on Denny Nagel's face looking at Joe Torre. And now, I think he looks out at the scoreboard to see if it's an official game. It's not, because he's only worked 4 2/3 innings with the lead. Shaking hands and immediately leaving, and Denny Nagel is none too happy about being removed here, but certainly you can understand it with Piazza coming up.
Piazza coming up. Piazza blasted a 2-run home run in the 3rd inning to make it a 3-2 game. We'll get to Cohn in 1 second. You go back to the first at bat. In the 1st inning, he hit a upper deck shot foul, or at least 2nd deck shot foul here. And now with 2 out, nobody on, Piazza will take on former New York Met, and the guy who starred here at Shea Stadium for the Mets, David Cohn. Ball 1. 80 and 48 in his 6 years with the Mets, including 1988 when he was 20-3 with an ERA of 2.22. One ball, no strikes on Piazza. 1-1. Joe Torre undecided for the first couple of games of this World Series as to who would get the ball to start this 4th game. Denny Nagel got the call, but Cone gets the early call out of the bullpen as he keeps it away from Piazza. It's 1-2.
That's a snapping slider from David Cone. After hitting with the fastball, he gets a tightly spinning slider. And I think Mike Piazza will see that again.
And he spoiled it to stay at the plate. Go back in time to David Cone as a New York Met. With the Mets from 87 to 92. He had wicked stuff. And was a guy that, whether it was Davey Johnson or someone else, they just gave him the ball and let him do his thing, and he racked up some pitch counts that were staggering during his time with the Mets. A 1-2. Piazza pops it up. So Joe Torre makes the move. He brings David Cone out of the bullpen, and here it's Shea. He gets Mike Piazza to end the 5th inning. A pop up to the second baseman, and a combination of Nagel and Cone tonight. The Yankees up by 1 after 5.
One night only. The Who.
How you doing out there? It's a little chilly.
The Simpsons season premiere with The Who, Sunday, November 5th on Fox.
Where can you go to get the most power you need in a truck? Your Colorado Toyota dealer during Toyota Truck Power Days. Save now on the 2001 Tundra 4x4 with a super low lease of just $299 a month for 36 months with only $23.98 due at signing. Or lease Tacoma 4x4 for just $259 a month for 36 months and $18.08 due at signing. Powerful trucks, powerful savings. Going on now during Truck Power Days. Only at your Colorado Toyota dealer.
With more of the hottest new releases guaranteed, nobody brings home the magic of the movies like Blockbuster.
Rent The Patriot this week at Blockbuster. Before they were soldiers, they were family. Before there was a nation, there was a fight for freedom. The Patriot, starring Mel Gibson, rated R, guaranteed on VHS and available on DVD at Blockbuster.
Blockbuster, bringing entertainment home.
It's never happened before, and you never saw it coming. It's your transmission, so who do you call to make sure it's fixed right? AMCO. They have over 700 locations across the country offering lifetime warranties and repairs. That means wherever you go, the help you need is just a phone call away. It is a good number to have. Call 1-800-GO-AMCO, AA-MCO.
Still trying to make the major leagues? Now here's a shortcut. Just log on to MLB.com, the league's official website, for the best video highlights on demand, live game audio. Make the moves at MLB's official online fantasy game. Grab the latest gear at the official store. MLB.com, the quickest way to the major leagues. For most of us, anyway.
As Tino Martinez walks in to lead off the 6th this week on Fox NFL Sunday, it begins with JB, Terry, Howie, and Chris on America's favorite pregame show. Then Randy Moss and the Vikings look to stay undefeated. And Warren Sapp and the Buccaneers, their 5th straight loss. Or Isaac Bruce and the Rams look to come back from last week's loss in Kansas City to beat the 49ers for the 4th consecutive time. Our other regional matchups, all right here on Fox, starting at noon Eastern, 9 Pacific this Sunday. Check your local listings. Check your local bullpen and find that Glendon Rush is the first out of it for the Mets after Jones went 5 innings, 3 runs on 4 hits. It's the lefty Rush to work here in the 6th.
Neither manager considering personal records in this situation, nor should they. Joe Torre nor Bobby Valentine.
To the left side, tricky hop. Bordick stays with it. 1 out. Martinez is gone.
It will be a chess match for the last 4 innings.
Yeah, I was going to bring up earlier, with there being no DH in these games in the National League City at Shea, a little different for Joe Torre than in the League Championship Series when Nagel was on the mound. When Nagel was on the mound and he struggled in the middle innings, he went right to Jeff Nelson. But it's a little trickier to do that in these games because the pitcher has to bat. So now the middle relief gets exposed for the Yankees. And we'll see what David Cone does in his role here tonight. He got through the 5th inning. Meanwhile, the Mets have gone to Glendon Rush, and that was the plan. They got 5 solid innings out of Bobby Jones, and now it's Glendon Rush. You can see this comparison of their bullpen. Rivera, Nelson, Stanton, the 3 of them combined in this postseason for 20 games, 25 2/3 innings, and a great ERA. Only 8 games and 8 innings from the rest of the entire bullpen, with an ERA over 5.5. No balls, 1 strike, and O'Neill takes ball 1. So Joe Torre, who cut his teeth managing in the National League with these Mets back in that style, can't hide your bullpen forever. As a ground ball up the middle is a base hit. Even Alfonso can't get to it as O'Neill is on. He's 2 out of 3 tonight and 9 out of 15 in this World Series.
Now Joe Torre will get somebody up in the bullpen, because if Posada or Brocious get on, and he'll also get someone up on the bench, and that someone is Jose Canseco or Jose Vizcaíno, depending on whether Joe needs and the Yankees need a long ball or a base hit.
David Cone, who was on this mound for the first time since 1992, thinking, is that it? Is that all I'm going to get? He's also saying, hey, remember, I'm a pretty good hitter. But not in this situation if the inning should fall to the number 9 spot, which is 3 spots away. One on, one out. That's Canseco. You might see him for the first time in this postseason here in the 6th inning. No at bats so far. There's David Cone, right-handed thrower, left-handed batter. Hoping he gets a chance to swing the bat. 1 on, 1 out. Posada takes ball 1.
I think the only way that David Cone would get a chance to swing the bat is if Posada homers or Brocious homers. If there are men on base, however, I don't think David hits.
1 ball, 1 strike on Posada. Glendon Rush on the mound, who lives in Seattle, Washington. Over the offseason, after getting a taste of life as a Met at the end of last season when he was traded here from Kansas City, Jeff Nelson getting loose for the Yankees, Glendon Rush flew here and worked out at Shea Stadium with Dave Wallace, the pitching coach. Wallace came down to New York, and Rush came all the way across the country. They worked on some mechanics, talked about the philosophy of pitching. Glendon Rush, who went into spring training vying for a spot in the rotation, won that derby between Bill Pulsifer, the left-hander Bobby Jones, and that man Rush. Posada pops it into left. The Park will hold it. Agbayani. 2 out.
I think Dave Wallace working on the mechanics of Glendon Rush and also the mechanics of the mind and his confidence. Once your mechanics as a pitcher is established, then the other is so important, knowing you belong. Boy, does Glendon Rush ever belong on this team. He has just been terrific in the postseason.
One on, 2 out now, and Brocious bats as Rush checks on O'Neill. We're in the 6th inning, and the Yankees lead 3-2. David Cone, if he goes back out there, will work to Zeal, Ventura, and Agbayani in the bottom of the inning. Base hit through the left side, and that might force the move by Joe Torre. 2 singles, and Cone is being called back to the dugout.
And if he sends up Jose Canseco, Bobby Valentine has no one warming up. He doesn't have Turk Wendell, and I think Joe Torre loves this matchup. If you're Valentine, you at least have to think about bringing in a right-hander to face Canseco. But no one is up in the Met bullpen. And now someone's getting up, but it's too late to get him ready, I think.
Jose Canseco, the 1989 American League Championship Series, Game 4 at Skydome. This home run with the A's against the Blue Jays, the 5th tier of the left field bleachers. The ball officially measured at 480 feet. But those in the park that game, and I know Bob Costas and Tony Kubek did that game, I'll tell you it went about 500 feet, maybe more, as Rick White loosens up. But it is going to be Glendon Rusch against Jose Canseco.
He might get him out, but Joe Torre loves this matchup. He noticed no one was up for the Mets in their bullpen, and now Rusch is forced to pitch to Canseco because Rick White's not ready.
Jose Canseco called on to be a pinch hitter, something he's not used to.
Valentine trying to get Mike Piazza's attention. Now he looks over.
Canseco third on the home run list among active players. Former Bash brother Mark McGwire at the top of that list. McGwire ended this season as a pinch hitter. 2 on, 2 out, and Canseco takes ball 1.
Canseco, for a big guy, for a home run hitter, has a very good eye. He's a better low ball hitter at this stage of his career because you don't need as quick a bat on the low pitch as you do the high pitch.
Looks like he's up there taking a strike, and it's 1-1. Canseco, in case you're wondering, 5 out of 31 in his career as a pinch hitter. And in his career against Glendon Rusch, 2 out of 7 with no home runs. 2 hits in the inning. Two on, 2 out, and Rusch steps off. Canseco trying to add to a 3-2 Yankee lead. 2-1. Runners on. O'Neill and Brocious with Jeter, who's already 2 out of 3 tonight next. But it's Rusch and Canseco. Tied him up, strike 2.
So you can look at Jose Canseco with the hands that low. There's no way he's going to hit a ball that is up. That makes him a low ball hitter. Futile swing right there. Overpowered a powerful man.
The 25-year-old left-hander Glendon Rusch with a 2-2 to Canseco. Got him looking. Glendon Rusch got the Mets out of the top of the 6th inning by getting Canseco looking.
Hitting major league pitching is very difficult, but rarely would a left-hander overmatch Jose Canseco like Glendon Rusch did. One wave of the bat. First pitch is high, the next one's a strike, and look at this swing right here. And then he strikes out on a fastball on the inside part.
So Jose Canseco, as Jeff Nelson takes over, who was last at the plate October 1st and has been quoted as saying, I don't know what good I'm going to be as a pinch hitter.
Yeah.
I don't know what I add to this team. Added a strikeout and got the Mets out of trouble in the top of the inning as Nelson deals with Zeal and starts him with a strike. Zeal 0 for 2. Ventura and Agbayani will follow. Jeff Nelson trying to protect a 6th inning 3-2 lead. 1 ball, 1 strike, and that nasty slider.
You know, we talked about it in the opening. Todd Zeal, Joe Torre saying before the game that there is not a fastball he cannot turn around right now with that quick bat.
2-1. Up the middle, base hit. Leadoff man is on for the Mets in the 6th. Last night, Robin Ventura, first at bat, did that against El Duque. Tonight, Ventura's 0 for 2. Tying run at first with nobody out in the 6th inning. Strike one. Certainly had to come into this game with a matchup of Nagel and Jones, expecting more offense, but both pitched relatively well, and it's a 3-2 game in the 6th. 1 ball, 1 strike.
That's a situation where Jeff Nelson is using a slide move when he doesn't need to. Todd Zeile is not a fast runner at first base, and that's one of the criticisms of Nelson with runners on base. He worries too much about the runners and not enough about the hitters, and here he is throwing over to first base.
2 reasons why Zeile won't run. He doesn't steal bases, and there's a big hole on the right side of the infield for the left-handed batter Ventura.
Right.
They could start the runner in a hit and run, but that's a different story. 1 ball, 1 strike. On the inside corner, strike 2. Ventura 3 out of 14 in this World Series.
Here it is. Instead of the high leg kick, Jeff Nelson, a big guy, does not pick the left foot up that far and slides it home. And what that does, it doesn't affect his control, but it does affect his power.
The opposite way. Justice coming on. 1 out. So Nelson gives up the hit to the right-handed hitting Zeile against the lefty Ventura, and here's Agbayani. Now Mike Stanton getting loose. This game's only in the 6th inning. Runner at first, 1 out. On the outside corner. Agbayani trying to do everything he can to add his name to the list of unlikely World Series heroes. It is a long list. Agbayani last night put the Mets on top for good in the 8th. He lines one to Nelson, double play. Nelson stuck the glove out, stabbed it, fired over to first, and the double play ends the 6th. Out of the 7th, 3-2 Yankees. Back after this from your local Fox station.
We focus on some stories in greater detail.
Ron's a great guy. He knows the market. He comes to the table every day knowing what's going on here.
She takes what she does seriously, doesn't take herself seriously.
I couldn't agree more. He loves to sing. He sings a lot.
Ron Zapolo and Libby Weaver, the right team at the right time. Fox 31 News at 9 o'clock.
Now it's the 7th inning of Game 4, a 3-2 Yankee lead. It's been that way since the bottom of the 3rd when Mike Piazza hit a home run. Scoreless through the middle innings. And now it's Jeter with Soho and Justice to follow against Glendon Rush. Ball 1.
First pitch outside, no surprise. What the outfield of the Mets is doing, they're giving Derek Jeter the left field line. There is a huge area to left field.
That one is hit the opposite way, but Alfonso's on the other end of it, 1 out.
In baseball, that's known as pitching them away and playing them away, and that's what the outfield was doing then.
When Joe Torre made the pitching change, as we watch this smash to the second baseman Alfonso again, Joe Torre made the pitching change back in the 5th inning. We were talking about the beat writers and the columnists from the New York dailies up here during the Subway Series days, talking about that great stretch, and again from 1947 to 1956, a 10-year span, 7 Subway Series, and some of the names of those writers, and some are still here bridging that gap. Ball 1 to Soho. Dave Anderson, who was with the Brooklyn Eagle, now with the Times, who is here. Jack Lang, who was with the Long Island Press. Paper's defunct, but Jack Lang is still going. That's low. 2 balls, no strikes on Soho. Milton Richmond with UPI, Jimmy Cannon, New York Post, Dick Young, the New York Daily News. Herb Gorin from the New York Sun wrote the old scout column. And now the men and women who fill these newspapers day after day with story after story, and they've had plenty to write about over the last couple of weeks. 3 balls and a strike on Soho. 1 out, nobody on. Opposite way base hit for Soho. 1 on, 1 out.
Now there were more teams, are more teams today than there were 44 years ago. Only 16 teams compared to 30 today. 2 teams west of the Mississippi, Kansas City and St. Louis. Playoff teams, there are 8 playoff teams now. If you won your pennant, you were in the World Series. Minimum salary, $200,000 now. Only $6,000 then. So things have changed dramatically.
And the World Series share, forget it.
It will probably be about $330,000 to $340,000 a man this year.
That's ball 1 to Justice. Glendon Rush trying to pitch around a 1-out hit by Soho. That's on the outside corner. 1-1. 20-game winners, though, the interesting stat at the bottom of that graphic. 20-game winners, 9 then, 4 this year. So fewer teams, more 20-game winners. 2 balls and a strike on Justice.
The reason for that is pitchers were pitching with 3 days rest. There were 4-man pitching rotations. Pitchers pitching 38 starts, 37 starts. Now it's more like 32 or 33 starts. There were more opportunities to win 20 games then.
3 balls and a strike. Hit on the other side with the watered down nature with more teams. At the talent level, you can make the case that those pitchers were facing better competition on a more routine basis. Runner at first, 1 out, 3 balls and a strike on Justice. Glendon Rush shot into center, right at Payton, 2 out. That was a seed hit to center field.
Jay Payton playing David Justice perfectly. Shading a little toward left center. Hardly had to move for that rope.
Here's Bernie Williams. 0 for his last 21 in World Series at bats. Last time up with the runner on, Soho at second base. He lined out to short. Also fly to center, and now he bats right-handed against the lefty Rush. Strike one. There was a time when the switch hitter Bernie Williams was a better, more dangerous right-handed batter, but that isn't the case. The last couple of years he has been more productive, especially power-wise and RBI-wise, batting lefty.
His first 6 years, from 1991 through 1997, he was a much better right-handed hitter, about 45 points better.
0-2 from Rush.
But now it's changed. He's a better left-handed hitter.
Career numbers, and that's against right-handed pitching. And against left-handed pitching. 0-2 the count as this crowd gets to its feet here at Shea. Soho takes off. Throw down by Piazza's too late. It sails into center, but Soho will stay put. And the stolen base for Luis is his first of the postseason.
What a jump. The jump was so good, Mike Piazza would have been better off putting it in his pocket. No chance to get Soho. Watch this jump Soho has against Glendon Rush. Oh, man. He's halfway there before the ball was delivered. Now he's just holding his helmet. Well-timed stolen base by Soho.
One ball, 2 strikes on Williams. An RBI chance for Bernie with a runner at second, 2 out. Rush with a 1-2 count. We'll do it again. Tino Martinez waits to hit next. A 3-2 Yankee lead, a chance for another. 2-2. The postseason overall, Williams 1 out of 14 with runners in scoring position. 4 RBIs total. Full count.
Luis Soho, a very experienced base runner, realizes there are 2 outs and 2 strikes. We talked about it last night. When you, as the runner on at second base, see that ball in the hitting area, you take off. 2 strikes, 2 outs.
The Mets in the bottom of the 7th inning will have the bottom of their order, including Rush, who will bat third. So this is it for Glendon Rush here in the top of the 7th. To Williams. Big run sitting out there for the Yankees. A 1-out hit by Soho. He stole second during this at bat. He's out there with 2 out. time to stretch. Bernie Williams 0 for 15 in this World Series. Yankees lead 3-2.
All right, fans.
Bud Light, for the great taste that won't fill you up and never let you down. Make it a Bud Light. And by Compaq. Welcome to the new IT inspiration technology from Compaq.
Up above the Bud 1 airship, Budweiser would like to thank LaGuardia Tower for ensuring the safety of the airship in the 2000 World Series. LaGuardia right next door. The Bud 1 airship up above, and down below, plenty of action. Even in a 3-2 game. Yankees up by a run, bottom of the 7th. And the Mets will bat. Here's Jay Payton. Greeting old fans down there below the booth.
Yep.
Nothing in 1 on Payton is John Franco. Last night's winner for the Mets. Gets loose.
I worked here for 16 years. I know a lot of these people by first name basis. Come on.
Strike 2 on Payton. Lenny Harris on deck. Appears he will hit for Bordick. And then either Franco or Hamilton, depending on who's on the mound for the Yankees. If it's still Nelson, would hit for Rush. 1 and 2. Payton able to lay off that pitch. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Jeff Nelson, 4 straight sliders. 2 that caught the outside corner. Mike Stanton ready. Be interesting to see which way Joe Torre goes. Remember Mariano Rivera can go 2 innings tonight.
Now the count's full. It was 0-2.
So Joe Torre is not at all worried about using 2 pitchers in this inning, Nelson and Stanton.
And he's in a spot now, Tim, where he only needed Cone for a third of an inning, the way the game unfolded. And that middle relief still has been rather silent in this World Series.
Meanwhile, Jay Payton has battled back from an 0-2 count to a full count.
On the outside corner, 1 out.
The sequences are easy when they're all the same pitch. 2 sliders for strikes, a wider slider, a still wider slider, another slider, 6 straight sliders gets Jay Payton.
So Payton is gone, and now Lenny Harris will bat for Bordick, who was 0 for 2 while he was in there. Harris was the starter, the DH in Game 2 at Yankee Stadium, and went 0 for 4. Strike 1.
See Lee Mazzilli moving Bernie Williams back. Bernie Williams was in, and Mazzilli wants a more of a no doubles defense right now. They're playing no doubles in right and left, but Bernie Williams, Mazzilli thinks, is too shallow.
Lenny Harris with a good swing, but it's 1-2. Lenny Harris, a weapon off the bench for any manager he has played for over the years. 130 pinch hits he's put together. Number 4 on the all-time list. Manny Mota at the top of that list. 1 ball, 2 strikes, and that stayed up and away. 2-2. Darrell Hamilton on deck. Pitcher's spot is next. Up and away again, 3-2. Those eyes have seen plenty of baseball over the years.
52 years of it.
A one-out walk, and Harris had to work to get it.
Thing about pinch hitting Lenny Harris, I think Joe Torre's going to make the move right now to Mike Stanton because Harris is a base running threat, and Jeff Nelson is very easy to steal against.
On top of that, you've got the lefty Hamilton announced as the pinch hitter. It wouldn't surprise anybody if Bubba Trammell's standing at the plate when we come back to Shea. 1 on, 1 out in the 7th. Torre just made a pitching change here in the 7th inning, and he talks to us about struggles that the Yankees have had this postseason in the bullpen.
I'm just fortunate that when we've had a breakdown in the bullpen in the postseason, it's been in games that we've had a little room to breathe. And you can't, you know, not go to the people that have gotten you here and have pitched well here. You know, even Mariano gave up a 3-run home run. You know he's going to be my closer, and in every game we're in a position to close.
So now it's Stanton with 1 on, 1 out. Good numbers from Mike. Did not appear in the league championship series, by the way. Postseason 2-0. Good ERA, and it is Bubba Trammell at the plate, batting for Darrell Hamilton, who was hitting for Glendon Rush, who pitched 2 shutout innings. And Kurt Abbott on deck with Perez, the scheduled hitter. Abbott's going to have to come in the game and play short, as Bordick has been lifted for a pinch hitter in the 7th inning as well. Strike 1 on Trammell. Trammell's done a nice job off the bench for Bobby Valentine. That was game 1. Game-tying 2-run single. Last night, an insurance tally in the 8th inning with a sac fly off Stanton, who he faces now. And here's Trammell in game 4 with the tying run at first, 1 out in the 7th inning.
Yankees would love another sacrifice fly right now with nobody on third.
Right. That's also known as out number 2,
right,
with the runner returning to first. Breaking ball misses, ball 1.
We flash back to game 3 of the National League Division Series. The Mets and the Giants on that Saturday afternoon, won by the Mets in the 13th inning by Benny Agbayani's home run. In the 8th inning, a fielder's choice to Lenny Harris. He stole second base, and Edgardo Alfonso got a single off Rob Min to tie it.
A 1-1. That's a strike, 1 and 2.
That sent the game into extra innings. As we said, Agbayani finished off the Giants. That gave the Mets a 2-1 lead, and the next day Bobby Jones pitched that dazzling 1-hitter.
It's Harris on at first here in game 4 of the World Series with 1 out. Trying to reach Stanton, who deals with Trammell. 1-2 pitch. 2 out.
So what Joe Torre did, he neutralized the running game, got Hamilton out of the game, and Stanton gets Trammell with a high fastball out of the strike zone.
So now Kurt Abbott will bat. That means 4 bench players have been used by Bobby Valentine in this 7th inning. First Harris, then Hamilton, Trammell, and now Abbott.
Yeah, Trammell stays in the game and goes to right. Abbott stays in the game and goes to short.
Strike 1 on Abbott.
Abbott does have a double in the series. He doubled over Paul O'Neill's head at Yankee Stadium. O'Neill now is deep in right field, and he well should be.
Two outs here in the 7th inning. Tying run at first for the Mets, Lenny Harris. And that's just blown by Kurt Abbott. 93 miles per hour, and Stanton is still throwing hard.
Well, in that first game, the game that went 12 innings, won by the Yankees 4-3, Stanton retired all 6 Mets to face him with 3 strikeouts. And tonight, he's throwing just as hard.
And Franco left on the bench for Bobby Valentine, along with Joe McEwing and Todd Pratt. Harris at first with 2 out. Abbott strikes out. Mike Stanton comes in the game, strikes out Trammell, then Abbott. And after 7 in game 4, the Yankees still leading 3-2.
Great swing, Mr. Jordan. Reminds me of Derek Jeter.
What?
Derek Sanderson Jeter, the king of New York. I'll show you what I mean. 0 for 4, he goes to the batting cages. 4 for 4, he goes to the cage. Curveball, slider, you name it. He can do it all. Kind of like you, Mr. Jordan. MJ, DJ, woo! And he's drinking your stuff, too. Gatorade, for that deep down body thirst. Yeah!
Can I have my 3-iron, please?
Yeah. I could totally fix this.
I just think that you can do more.
I'm late with one payment in 4 years.
It is not about the money. You just don't get it.
Look, Victoria wants me to move to California with her.
Why don't you go tell Joey? You tell him.
6 weeks before one of the biggest games of my life, I felt a strange pain in my chest. What my doctor found was my toughest opponent yet. 3 of my arteries were more than 90% blocked. After recovering from surgery, lowering my high cholesterol became more important than football. Later, I was fortunate enough to coach my team in the biggest game of the season. That's the kind of play we need! Along with a healthy diet and regular exercise, taking Zocor every day helped significantly lower my total cholesterol.
Zocor is a prescription medication and is not right for everyone, including women who are nursing, pregnant, or may become pregnant, or people with liver problems. Your doctor may do blood tests to check for liver problems. Because serious side effects can result, tell your doctor about any muscle pain or weakness you experience while on Zocor and about any medicines you are taking.
When diet and exercise are not enough, talk to your doctor about Zocor. Take care of yourself. It's your future. Be there.
1 week from tonight, Halloween's not over till the Simpsons say it is.
I know you rescue us.
Rescue you, stuff myself with candy, it's all good. An all-new Simpsons Halloween special on a special night. Then John Goodman returns to television.
I'm not laughing.
How about now? On the series premiere of Normal, Ohio. It all begins next Wednesday at 8/7 Central on Fox.
Well, still a 3-2 Yankee lead as game 4 goes to the top of the 8th inning. Joe Buck, Tim McCarver with you. Bob Brenly down by the field. And I think 2 things. A, each manager ought to be happy with the starts that they got. Denny Nagel for the Yankees, Bobby Jones for the Mets. They were good enough. It's a 1-run game here in the 8th inning. And on top of that, John Franco's on the mound, and Bobby Valentine told us before the game, everybody's always asking me about my contract, because I stop some of them mid-sentence and say, what about John Franco's contract? Can you imagine having to do without John Franco on this Mets team?
Bobby thinking that John Franco can pitch another 4 years, and he's 40 years old right now. That's how good a shape number 45 is in. Won last night's ball game, and he'll be facing a couple of left-handers to lead it off here in the 8th inning.
Couple of defensive changes that were anticipated as Tino Martinez takes the ball up and in. Bubba Trammell stays in the game. He's in right field. And in it short after the Mets lifted Bordick for the pinch hitter. It's Kurt Abbott. Top of the 8th inning. Yankees batting. They lead 3-2, and a base hit through the right side for Tino Martinez. 2 out of 4 tonight, and 8 out of 16 in this World Series.
Paul O'Neill has not sacrificed since 1993, so forget about it. Forget about it, as they say in the area.
One on, nobody out. O'Neill. Strike one. John Franco became the second oldest player to win a World Series game last night. Dolph Luque in 1933. Pride of Havana, Cuba. The oldest. And slowing away. 1 ball, 1 strike. Jorge Posada waits to hit next. Then it's Brocious, a leadoff hit by Tino Martinez.
It is possible that Joe Torre would put the hit and run on, even though you have a left-handed pitcher, left-handed hitter.
Might be 2. Zeal. Abbott in the middle. Franco on the other end. Double play. 3-6-1. 2 out.
The most difficult double play, particularly with the left-handed pitcher, because he's falling toward third. What did Bobby Valentine say toward the end of our conversation today? John Franco is an excellent fielder, and he proves it again right here.
Zeal with a strong throw, and then Abbott. Perfect throw with Franco on his way to the bag, and O'Neill not running all that well. That factors in. 2 out, nobody on, and the batter is Posada, who is 0 for 2 with an intentional walk. Strike one.
At slide at second, Tino Martinez getting down because Kurt Abbott made him get down. A lot of shortstops, in order to prevent being taken out, will drop down on the runner. Watch Abbott right from down there to make him get down. Nicely turned double play.
Strike 2 on Posada. The Mets in the bottom of this 8th inning will have Alfonso, Piazza, and Zeal. Franco trying to keep it a 1-run game. Inning over. The big bats coming up for the Mets. They trail the Yankees by 1.
One, two, three, four, five.
Howie.
What are you doing?
Counting.
Counting what?
All this cool stuff I got on my shopping spree at Radio Shack.
Shopping? You hate shopping.
Not when it's...
Oh!
Get $400 to use toward anything in the store when you sign up for or switch to fast, reliable MSN Internet access from Microsoft at Radio Shack.
Howie, come on, stop it.
Series on Fox is brought to you by Merrill Lynch. Be smart, be confident, be bullish. By Chevy Trucks, the most dependable, longest-lasting trucks on the road. By MasterCard. MasterCard, proud sponsor of Major League Baseball and fan of the great American pastime. And by Yahoo Sports. Fresh sports news 24 hours a day.
Best seen the house tonight inside the Bud 1 airship, flying overhead tonight to bring you beautiful live shots of Shea Stadium and New York. Budweiser, the official beer of Major League Baseball in the 2000 Subway Series. This Sunday morning, we're bringing the tailgate party to you with NFL This Morning on Fox Sports Net. A full 2 hours of morning madness to get you ready for kickoff. Chris Myers leads the NFL This Morning breakfast bunch for Chalk Talk, Trash Talk, Bagels, and Donuts. Add in comedian Jay Moore, and you get the most raucous and rocking Sunday morning pregame show anywhere. NFL This Morning this Sunday at 10 a.m. Eastern, 7 Pacific, only on Fox Sports Net on your local cable or satellite provider. Well, we're in the 8th inning, and with the Yankees leading 3-2, they turn it over to their best in the bullpen. One of the best ever in the postseason out of a bullpen, Mariano Rivera.
Touched up for a home run the other night by Jay Payton of the Mets. That narrowed the gap to 6-5. That was in game 2. Yankees carrying a 6-0 lead going into the top of the 9th inning. And the Mets are hoping not only to tie it here in the 8th, but if they do, the pitcher's spot is hitting number 2 in the 9th inning. So if they tie it, they also get Rivera out of the ball game. Perhaps.
Benitez getting ready for the Mets. It's Alfonso at the plate. Strike 1. Alfonso tonight 0 for 2 with a walk. 2 out of 15 in this World Series. Oh, 2.
May have noticed with Piazza on deck where Posada was setting up. That is a pitch that Rivera has come up with this year. Setting up inside. He doesn't cut that pitch. It just stays on that level plane. If Posada sits up outside to a right-handed hitter, that's his cutter right here.
Alfonso into right field. O'Neill coming to get it. 1 out. Paul O'Neill is doing everything he can for these Yankees in the World Series. Bothered by a sore right hip, piling up hits and playing a strong right field.
O'Neill had to play deeper for Alfonso. He has good power the other way. Well, that made this play a little tougher. Nicely done.
Now a battle between Rivera and Piazza. Strike 1. Game 2 against the Mets. 1 inning. 3 earned runs, the home run hit by Peyton. 1 ball, 1 strike. Nagel started, got into the 5th. Cone finished the 5th. Nelson, Stanton. Now Rivera. To the shortstop, Jeter. 2 out.
There are many more Yankee fans at Shea Stadium than there were Met fans at Yankee Stadium. Clear from the applause.
Now it's Zeal, who's 1 out of 3.
Talked about it in the opening, saying that Joe Torre told us that the Yankees did not have a pitcher who had a fastball that Zeal couldn't turn around. Well, we'll see.
Zeal on 1-0, 1 ball, 1 strike. Two out, nobody on. 2 big threats erased by Rivera. Alfonso, then Piazza. 2 balls and a strike on Zeal. Home plate umpire wants to check the baseball. Yankees leading this series 2-1. Leading this game 4 in the 8th inning, 3-2. Into left field, another hit for Zeal. He's on with 2 out. And that'll bring Ventura to the plate.
Now he turned that fastball around, didn't he? I think Joe McEwing is a potential pinch runner here, and yeah, here he comes. Zeal, we mentioned earlier, has no stolen bases. He's not a fast runner, so McEwing properly being put in the ball game.
We came on the air tonight talking about Paul O'Neill, who's 2 out of 4 and just made a sliding catch out and right, and Todd Zeal, who's 2 out of 4 and gives the Mets hope here in the 8th inning. Now it's Ventura, and a pop up on the infield. Jeter waits for it, and game 4 goes to the 9th. The Yankee relief corps tonight: Cone, Nelson, Stanton, and now Rivera. 9th inning, 3-2 Yankees. Back at Shea Stadium, Subway Series, World Series continues, and after the game, it's your late local news, or for those of you that want more post-game coverage, tune to Fox Sports Net on your local cable or satellite provider. Armando Benitez in the game for the Mets, trying to keep it close. It's 3-2 Yankees, 9th inning. And Brocious takes ball 1 up and in. Matt Franco is into the game at first. Franco will bat 8th. The pitcher Benitez will bat 4th in the spot vacated by Zeal, then McEwing. 1 ball, 1 strike. strike two. It's Brocious now. It's Rivera on deck, and then Jeter. Smile from Rivera, who doesn't get a chance to swing the bat often. In case you're wondering, Rivera has had 2 plate appearances in his major league career, both in postseason. Had none during interleague, by the way. Last was Game 4 of the 1999 World Series. He's 0 for 2. But it's Brocious now. It's a 2-2 count. Dwight Gooden getting loose for the Yankees in their bullpen. Now 3-2.
Doc Gooden getting loose in case the Mets tie it in the bottom of the 9th inning. Rivera will go no more than 2 innings.
Armando Benitez had Brocious set up, and now he's lost that edge. 3 balls, 2 strikes. That's out of play. Benitez last night got the save, pitched a scoreless 9th, allowed a leadoff hit to Knobloch. Got around it. Brocious fights it off. The Mets in the bottom of this 9th inning will have Agbayani, Payton, and then Matt Franco. Two. Yankees trying to go up 3-1 in this 2000 World Series. A leadoff walk. Good at bat by Brocious, battling Benitez, and after fouling pitches away, he draws a leadoff walk, and that allows Rivera the chance to bunt.
Rivera will be bunting even with 2 strikes on him. Joe Torre does not want to take a chance. If you're the infielders, you can pinch, particularly the 3rd baseman. Robin Ventura will be breathing down his neck.
But he swings away and pops it into right. 1 out.
When you swing away and you hit it on the trademark, then you do what the Mets want you to do. Squaring around and now swinging. Ventura was about 10 feet from Rivera when he made contact.
Jeter now, who's 2 out of 4. Started this night with a home run on the first pitch. And a leadoff triple in the 3rd. He scored a run on a ground ball to the right side by Luis Sojo.
Look how close Robin Ventura was to Mariano Rivera when he made contact. He's in the foreground right there. Fortunately for Ventura and the Mets, he had a harmless fly ball the other way.
The opposite way off the bat of Jeter. Trammell coming on, and he drops it. Brocious will stop at second. It's 2 on, 1 out.
Trammell may have lost that ball in the lights. Maybe. It was low enough, and outfielders here have a difficult time It didn't appear, however, from that miss that the lights affected it. Just off the heel of the glove. Should be an error. Grosh's going back a couple of steps and can only go to second.
It's an error on Trammell. And it's 2 on, 1 out. A walk, an error in the inning, and Luis Sojo stands in with runners at first and second, 1 out. Strike 1.
The odds are 10-1 against Sojo pulling a ball against Benitez. His natural stroke's the other way anyway. He will pepper that hole between first and second with regularity.
One and one.
I think Edgardo Alfonso just said that if a ball's hit back to him, that Kurt Abbott would cover because Alfonso's going to protect or at least lean a little to his left, knowing Sojo, a fellow Venezuelan, hits it that way.
Runners go, and a foul out of play off to the right. Joe Torre trying to get a little action on the bases, and Sojo on a hit and run fouled it off to the right side. Now Sojo set up at 1 and 2. Still 1 and 2. Sojo with an RBI tonight, and right now it's the difference in the game. He made it 3-0 with an RBI ground out in the third. Two balls, 2 strikes.
Key pitch right here. If Benitez doesn't click with the 2-2 pitch, that means with 1 out and 2 on, the runners will be off. 3-2.
It is 3 and 2. David Justice on deck. Armando Benitez bothered with a problem in his right knee. He's had the right knee drained with fluid on the knee. There's an arthritic condition in there, and we talk about it with hitters. It's the case with Mark McGwire at the plate. Tendonitis, severe tendonitis in his right knee. It's the foundation. Same for Piazza, who's catching. Benitez, who drives off that back leg, is not totally healthy, and it's showing here in the postseason. The 3-2 to Sojo. Runners go, and a ground ball to second. Alfonso has only 1 play. Out at first, and it's second and third, 2 out.
That's how important that 2-2 pitch was. If that same ball is hit without the runners running, it's a double play, inning over. But because it was 3-2, runners running, no play at second, and Alfonso forced to go to first. Now the inning continues.
David Justice stands in, hitless on the night, and only 2 out of 14 in the World Series.
I David Justice a more dangerous hitter than Bernie Williams at this time.
That's foul.
The difference is, and you can imagine what Bobby Valentine's thinking right now, if you put Justice on intentionally, Benitez has run a 3-2 count to 3 hitters thus far in this inning, and you really can't trust his control.
Second and third, 2 out, no balls, 1 strike, 1-1. Again, the Mets in the bottom of this 9th inning. Facing Rivera will have Agbayani, Payton, and Matt Franco. Anybody gets on, Bubba Trammell, who's hitting in the number 9 spot. Trammell's error figures in now. Second and third, 2 out. A 2-ball, 1 strike count on Justice. And he runs this inning now would be unearned. That's of little significance in the grand scheme of things, the big picture for Benitez, who's trying to pitch back-to-back scoreless 9th innings. Benitez got Justice to end the game last night with a pop-up. Tries to get Justice to end the top of the 9th inning here with second and third, 2 out. Into right field, pretty well hit. Trammell near the track and now on it, puts it away. Trammell didn't see that ball initially. Got a late break, but went back to put it away. Agbayani, Payton, Franco coming up for the Mets, down by 1.
It's a 3-2 ball game, and you may remember back in the 3rd inning, we talked about it with Derek Jeter on third base. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Luis Sojo. We talked about moving the right side of the infield in. Sojo, had the infield been in, Derek Jeter doesn't score. David Justice, the next hitter, tapped toward first, and then Bernie Williams made the last out, flying to center. Had they played it that way, they don't score. Not an egregious error, but an error nonetheless. Minuscule in the difference between this game right now.
Here's Agbayani. Mets down by a run. Facing Mariano Rivera. And taking ball 1. Blade Bellinger is in the game in left field. David Justice finished for the rest of the night. One ball, 1 strike. Strike 2. Jay Payton, who homered off Rivera in game 2 next. Inside corner, 1 away.
Mariano Rivera came up with that pitch to prevent right-handers from leaning out over the plate. With the count 1-2, he freezes Agbayani on that inside fastball.
The Yankees 2 outs away from a 3-1 series advantage with a matchup of Andy Pettitte and Al Leiter going tomorrow night. Royals, the last team to come back with 3-1 deficit in the World Series. That's on the outside corner to Payton. Tomorrow it's Andy Pettitte against Al Leiter. Neither pitcher figured in the decision back in game 1. The 12-inning affair, the 4-hour 51-minute game. Won by the Yankees. 1 ball, 1 strike on Payton. strike two.
Shoulder high fastball, and Jay can't lay off of it.
Peyton tonight, 2 hits, came in the postseason hitting 184. 5 out of 16 in this World Series. A 1-2 from Rivera. 2-2. Matt Franco, who took over in that double switch when the Mets brought in Benitez, is on deck. That's foul. Similar to the swing that he took in Game 2 when he homered the opposite way.
That swing in Game 2 was on a fastball down about 6 inches. This one up around the letters. It is so hard to get on top of that Rivera fastball. Ball is on top of you in no time.
Two to Peyton. Full count. Three balls, 2 strikes. Tying run at the plate. Peyton stays in there. Up and out of the strike zone and up and out of play. Off to the right. Still 3-2. In the air to left. Bellinger back a few. 2 out. And the last hope for the Mets is Matt Franco, who on July 10th last year here at Shea Stadium delivered against Mariano Rivera. Bottom of the 9th inning to give the Mets a 9-8 win. Alfonso scoring the winning run. That gave the Mets their first ever series win against the Yankees. That was last July. Franco, the tying run at the plate with 2 out, nobody on in the 9th. Ball 1. That's foul. Trying to jerk it out of here. 1 ball, 1 strike.
He was trying to do exactly that.
"16 consecutive postseason save opportunities converted by Mariano Rivera." A 1-1 to Matt Franco. The Yankees are 1 strike away from a 3-1 series advantage. Yankees win Game 4. A matchup tonight at the start of Denny Nagel against Bobby Jones. Two who had struggled in the league championship series. They pitched well enough. Another one-run affair. That means that of the 4 games of this World Series, the games have been decided by a total of 5 runs.
All 3 Yankee wins have been one-run victories.
And as it stands, they can clinch their 26th World Championship tomorrow night behind Andy Pettitte. He'll take on Al Leiter in that game at 8 Eastern here on Fox. The Merrill Lynch play of the game happened just as we were settling into this game 4. First pitch of the night from Bobby Jones. Onto the bat of Derek Jeter and into the bleachers. And a 1-0 Yankee lead. They led throughout. Let's go down to Keith Olbermann standing by with Derek Jeter. Keith.
All right, Joe Buck, thanks very much with Derek Jeter. And I thought you weren't supposed to hit leadoff, or you didn't like to hit leadoff, or you couldn't hit leadoff. First pitch of the game, that was something of a statement.
Well, no, I don't mind it. You know, I've hit leadoff for a few games this year when Chuck was injured, and I've done it in the past, my first couple of years. So, you know, in my opinion, you only lead off the first inning. So I just keep the same approach, and I'm aggressive.
Is there some sense in a game like this, since you guys hadn't lost a World Series game since the second game in Atlanta in 1996, after they won last night, did you have a need for this game? Was there a stronger sense than there has been perhaps in recent years or earlier in this series?
Not really. You know, we take the same approach every series, you know, whether it's the World Series or the first 2 rounds. And, you know, we've been fortunate the last few years, but this Met team, they're the best team we played in the World Series so far. And they're tough. We've had a lot of close games, and fortunately, this is a huge win for us.
Do you, as they say, smell it at this point, up 3-1?
No. I mean, we got to come out here ready to play because these guys don't want to lose. You know, they have a resilient team. They've been coming back the last couple of years on some tough teams, so we got to come out here ready tomorrow.
Derek, I understand the last issue of the evening is the clothing may be damaged in there. You've had a flood in the Yankee clubhouse, the only thing you were defeated at all night?
Yeah, that's what I heard, so hopefully we got our clothes out of the way.
Derek, thanks. Let's bring in Paul O'Neill after another great game, and you're another win away from another World Series title.
These are gut-wrenching games, man. I'm telling you, physically, mentally, just exhausted when you walk off this field. It's one-run baseball, and, you know, one play can change it, and they've been great games.
How about this triple binge that you were on all of a sudden? I thought there hadn't been any since, what, the 93?
That's a long run for me, I tell you. This is a big ballpark, and when things happen down the lines, you're going to have some triples. But, you know, both pitching staffs kept their team in the game. Everybody knew coming into the series, you know, runs were going to be tough, and so far so good. But, you know, we can't assume anything. Tomorrow's another day, and, you know, Leiter's their best.
I was going to ask about the pitching. Not only was there spectacular work out of the familiar members of your bullpen. David Cone came in and got a critical out. Denny Nagel pitched strong for 4 2/3. Everything went in order, and really there was no threat from the Mets in terms of scoring position past the 3rd inning. It was, as you suggested, gut-wrenching, but because your pitching staff came through.
Obviously, you know, bringing David in, that's a huge out for us, and Joe does things like that. And you know, when you're up one-run game, there's a threat every time Piazza and Alfonso and Zeal walk to the plate. So that's a credit to our pitching. Obviously, they've been strong all year, and that's why we're here.
Paul, we have talked on occasion in the past about how tense these times are for you. You said it just as you came off the field, how gut-wrenching this is. Do you give yourself 5 minutes of enjoyment every day and say, okay, this is good, I like this? Do you have that at all?
There's times during the game where you're running the bases or scoring a run or knocking a run. I mean, you can't describe, you know, just the feeling, but it's fun when it's all said and done, and if you win, that's when it's fun, because that's when it's all well worth it.
In the situation that you're in tomorrow and now with the win away from the World Series and in the other team's ballpark, and obviously it's a tough team. Derek Jeter just said this was the toughest team you guys have faced in the World Series since the group got together in '96. What are you expecting tomorrow? Just more of the same, another one-run game, or would we have the luxury of a 2-run game tomorrow?
I'd love it. I'd love to come out here and say we're just going to score runs. But I mean, Leiter's been lights out against us every time he's pitched. I wouldn't be surprised if we have another one-run game. There's no doubt that pitching's going to beat good hitting, and we just need some timely hits and hopefully give the ball to Mo again.
All right, Paul, thanks. Congrats on the triples. Paul O'Neill. Let's go back upstairs to Joe Buck. Joe?
All right, Keith, thank you. So a 3-2 win, another one-run victory for the Yankees. And they end up now 3-1, the advantage through 4 games of the 2000 World Series, with Game 5 coming tomorrow night. Andy Pettitte.
And then Torre has a chance now to leave Cone in, but the Yankees batting in the next inning, they have a chance to score a run, and he pinch hits for Cone and brings in Nelson, and Nelson pitched brilliantly. So did Stanton. So this shows how much Joe Torre wanted to go for the juggler, and rightly so.
And he did it with great bullpen pitching, and of course some contributions from a veteran, Paul O'Neill, who's been in a slump at least until the World Series began. He's standing by now. Out to Shea Stadium, here's Al Trotwick, Howie Rose, and Paul O'Neill. Al?
All right, Mike, we're with Paul O'Neill, who contributed offensively and defensively. And Paul, obviously, from a series standpoint, this is a rather good position you've helped your team get to.
Well, I mean, obviously, to be up 3-1, we're very fortunate. Every one of these games has been close. Could have gone either way with a play here or there, but you know, we're battling every night, and you know, you don't get a prize for winning 3, so we realize that. Leiter's always been tough on us, so tomorrow we'll be here before you know it. And I just, one of these days, it'd be nice to win by a couple runs instead of just one.
Well, we showed some legs last night on the part of Todd Zeile, one guy who wouldn't expect to run out 3 base hits necessarily, or at least score from first base. Tonight, another triple, this one for Paul O'Neill. And those young legs, I guess, are just as fresh as ever. Huh?
Well, I mean, this ballpark down the line is deep. And if anything happens down the line, if the cutoff throw is long, then you're going to have a chance for some triples.
You know that from having played here, even going as far back as when you were in the National League with the Cincinnati Reds. Is that stuff you factor in even before you go onto the field?
Well, I talked to Derek before the series started, saying that, you know, if the ball's down the line, get out there quick, and we'll try to hold them to a double. But like I said, down the lines, you know, you can get some triples in this ballpark.
Now, Paul, you know, watching this game, if you have a vested interest, it's agony on both sides. Your 3 wins have come by 1 run, and so obviously that catch that we just saw in the 8th inning as Mariano Rivera was getting started was huge. Did you get a good look at that right off the bat?
Well, yeah, I mean, Alfonso hits the ball that way a lot, and you know, those things happen so quick. You can't really. You just glad when it's all said and done, and you've caught the ball and you go home with a win, obviously. But
are you churning inside when this is all going on?
It's gut wrenching. There's no doubt about it. I mean, when you come off this field, it's a great feeling to win another ball game, but you're physically and mentally just exhausted.
Paul, how do you quantify the experience that your team has in the World Series over the last few years in terms of what it's meant to you in this series?
Well, I mean, we've been here, obviously. We don't assume anything. I mean, winning is so great in New York. There's no doubt about it. And losing is so bad, obviously. So, I mean, we play with just to get to that number 4 and go home. I mean,
but is there a different level of relaxation that you can approach a series like this, even against the Mets, Ian, because you've been here before so often?
Well, ever since we clinched and the Mets and the Subway Series was talked about, there's been no relaxation. I mean, this has been written up, and so be it. I mean, the games have been great. I mean, obviously, from a fan standpoint point of view, they've been great games, and you can't complain about that.
All right, last question. You were struggling. Now you're not. Was this a phone? Was this a phone?
Another one.
Was this a phone call from Ted Williams or not?
I don't know. I just hope I can go out tomorrow and hit some balls hard.
All right, get out of here. Get out of here. And one of the reasons that the Yankee lives are complicated right now and here at Shea Stadium is that a pipe burst at some point during the ball game, and so the Yankees and the normal interviews that would go on in the clubhouse are going to go on out here on the field, and so they're going to be a little bit grouchy as this night goes along.
Organized mayhem.
Now, Howie, I thought one of the most intriguing aspects of this game, and you see the media on the field here at Shea Stadium, and finally the fans are starting to head home. They stood largely stunned, I think, because this was another spectacle here tonight at Shea Stadium. But I thought one of the intriguing parts of this game, and there were many, were the presence of Mike Piazza in his first at bat against Denny Nagel, and then in the at-bat where he hit the home run, because that dramatically changed how Joe Torre played the rest of the game.
Well, it absolutely did, Al, because as far as Joe Torre was concerned tonight, Mike Piazza hit 2 home runs off of Denny Nagel. Right. A long, emphatic, loud foul ball his first time up, after which Piazza would strike out. And then, of course, a home run that went a long way and really left very little doubt in Torre's mind that he did not have a favorable matchup with Denny Nagel against Mike Piazza. I guess if you were to forecast this thing from the beginning and say that you were going to bring in another pitcher to face Piazza as early as the 5th inning, who would it be? I don't know if David Cone necessarily would have been the first guy to come to mind. That's how it worked out, but it happened that way because of really, I think, a foul ball.
All right, here we go. Let's go back. First inning, Denny Nagel just getting started. He eventually, as Howie just said, would strike out Mike Piazza, but this has got to scare you. And this is right after Derek Jeter hit the first pitch of the ball game from Bobby Jones way out over the left field wall to give the Yankees a 1-0 lead. And then Piazza came up and hit a very good pitch. This was just an awesome display of power and hitting style, and that gave the Mets belief. That made it 3-2 at that point. And then the Mets got into the Yankees bullpen, as you mentioned, a lot earlier than Joe Torre had thought.
Yeah, and you know, when you forecast this series, and I was one of those who thought that the Mets would have more depth out there in the bullpen. Certainly you factor in Nelson, you factor in Rivera, and you think behind that, that's where the Mets have an edge. One guy who can't be forgotten is Mike Stanton, who's been brilliant during his stint so far in this World Series. So much so that when you combine what he did, the one batter that Cone faced, Mike Piazza, the work of Jeff Nelson, and of course Rivera to close out, the Mets did not get a runner into scoring position after the home run by Mike Piazza, and of course that home run came in the 3rd inning, so that had a lot to do with the way this game shook out. The Yankees now 1 win away from another World Series championship. Bobby Valentine has just concluded his meeting with Matt Loughlin, and we will let you hear what Bobby and Matt had to say as we go downstairs.
Bobby, these have been very, very tight games, obviously. The losses have been by 1 run. What has been the difference in this series? What separates these two teams at this point?
Well, 2 games in the series. They got 3, we have 1, and that's really a separation and a couple runs. And well, what are you going to do? That's what it is.
You were able to get Nagel out of there in the 5th inning with the 2 runs, but down 1. You got to their bullpen, but I guess you got to tip your cap to the bullpen in this game because they were able to maintain that 1-run lead from the 5th inning on.
Yeah, we put a little together here and there, but they made good pitches. You know, Nelson and Stanton, and of course Rivera at the end. You know, did what they had to do to keep us at bay and kept us off the scoreboard. We had whatever 6 innings to score 1 to tie it. We didn't get it.
All right, last question. Because the games have been so tight, though the road will not be easy, down 3-1, is that something that gives you a little extra hope in this somewhat desperate situation because they have been tight? There's not that much separating the 2 teams?
Well, I think we have a lot of hits left in us, and if those hits come all together in the next 3 games, we'll be in good shape.
All right, the Mets have to feel like they're in good shape tomorrow with Al Leiter going up against Andy Pettitte, and this wild scene on the field continues. It's almost like a clinching in San Diego or something like that, where the players just kept coming out and coming out. But Howie, let's get back now to the key moment of the game. As if this series needed any extra theater, it got it when David Cone was called out of the bullpen, and one of the most stunned looks you've ever seen on a baseball field was Denny Nagel when he retired the first 2 batters of the 5th inning. But in came David Cone and got Mike Piazza to pop up harmlessly to Luis Sojo at second base. And then after that, the parade of relievers came in for the Yankees and did the job.
Well, Jeff Nelson was the first one to follow Cone, who probably didn't know going into that appearance against Piazza that he'd only have the 1 batter. But then Nelson would pitch an inning in a 3rd, allowing just 1 hit. And the line drive double play hit into by Benny Agbayani to end the 6th inning. Obviously, a very big play is engineered by Jeff Nelson. Then, of course, came Mike Stanton, and we've talked a lot about him already.
Huge strikeout there. That was Bubba Trammell. And then he would strike out Timo Perez. And that would be the end of things for, oh, that was actually Kurt Abbott that pinch hit for Timo Perez.
Yeah, because of an at-bat that he had against Stanton in the 1st game.
And then Mariano Rivera came in and was absolutely marvelous, recording 2 strikeouts in the key 9th inning. A fly ball into the glove of Clay Bellinger, frustrating Jay Payton. And then Matt Franco looking at strike 3. So for the Yankee bullpen, a fabulous night. And they win 3 games by 1 run, and that is pressure pitching. Joining us now live on the field is Jeff Nelson. And Jeff, it looked as though, in your mind, you thought you got squeezed there a little bit.
I don't know. In the heat of the moment, you always think you do. You always think you get squeezed. You always think it was a strike. I'm always asking Jorge if it was a strike. I'm asking the guys on the bench if they were inside. But I'm sure he made the right call, and it wound up working out. Stanton came in, and he did a great job striking out those 2. So it ended up being all right.
And we just showed the double play, the line drive back to the box off the bat of Benny Agbayani. Is that purely a reaction play, or are you able to follow that ball into your glove somehow?
No, those kind of plays, when they hit it back to you, they seem somehow to find your glove, and that's what happened. I mean, my glove was in the right spot, and I think it just found my glove, and I closed it. And in those situations, the guy on first base is always going to run because you think it's going to be a base hit up the middle, and we got a double play out of it.
Jeff, I'm always amazed. You guys, you walk this fine line. One walk and maybe you're out of the ball game. How have you found a way to manage your emotions in all these postseason games that you've appeared in?
I don't know. I mean, it just eats at my stomach. The lining of my stomach is very thin right now. I mean, this is the games here have been great. Every single game has been close, and it's easier when you're pitching because you have a little bit of control of what's going on out there. It's harder when you're watching, especially going in the clubhouse. When I came out, it's a one-run game, and at any time that these guys could tie the game up, and you're just gut-wrenching every time and every pitch.
And say this for Mets fans. I mean, the atmosphere that they create here at Shea Stadium, I think, is second to none in baseball.
Oh, they're awesome. I mean, they're great fans. They're New York fans, and I think we had a good mix. I heard some Yankee fans. I heard some claps, and we didn't hear that at Yankee Stadium, which was good. We didn't hear any Met fans, which was good. But it was a good mix, and they know they have every right to love the Mets. They've done a great job this year.
When you programmed this thing into your mind as you came in to start the 6th inning, did you get the feeling that you might be able to take it up to Rivera even if Mariano was going to start the 8th?
Well, that's your objective is to throw strikes and get as many guys out you can, and give as many innings as you can, because when you're coming into the 6th and you know that then it's going to be Stanton and Rivera, you want to give Joe as much as you can, and especially with National League ball, when the pitcher comes up, then when I came out in that 2nd inning that I had the 3 guys before they started bringing in lefties, so I wanted to really get through that inning so we could get to Mike and Rivera wouldn't have to pitch 2 innings.
So what's up with the clubhouse? Is it under like 3 feet of water or something?
Well, I was in there when it happened. I was in the training room, and all of a sudden where the massage area and the weight area and the hot tub area was like Niagara Falls. It was all of a sudden the ceiling collapsed, water was everywhere. It was like green gunky water, and luckily it doesn't smell in there. But those guys, the policemen, the fire department, the people in the around the stadium, they got that stuff cleaned up pretty good.
Wow. All right, Jeff, thanks a lot for your time.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Right, Jeff Nelson, a big part of helping the Yankees build up to a 3-1 lead. And it'll be very interesting, Howie, to see what Michael Kay and Joe Torre are about to talk about, because Joe Torre once again went to a slugger, tried to win this game with 1 big swing, and Jose Canseco looked at strike 3.
I don't think he took the bat off his shoulders the entire
It was 1
at-bat,
check
did he?
swing. Yeah, I mean, you could hear Yankee fans groaning from here to the Bronx. What else do you think in terms of how the Mets view things now is on their minds?
Well, I think they've got to feel pretty good about the fact that in the next 2 games, if there is a 2nd game to be played after tomorrow, they've got their 2 best pitchers going in Al Leiter and Mike Hampton. You have to be able to stand behind that as reason for hope. And, Al Leiter has always pitched very well against the Yankees, and whether it's at Yankee Stadium or Shea Stadium where he'll pitch tomorrow, I think you go in pretty well comfortable that he's going to keep you in the game, but you just hope that you can get either to the starting pitcher, Andy Pettitte, or to the Yankee bullpen, which has certainly matched, if not outpitched, the Mets bullpen over these first 4 games.
Meanwhile, the tenor of these games, the drama of this Subway Series has been memorable already. Let's go inside and hear what Joe Torre is saying to Michael Kay about his Yankees being up 3-1.
Sweet. Joe, what a game. Are you all right?
I am now. We scored bang, bang, bang. I said, good. Maybe we'll break through, get a couple or 3, and there's always that minefield out there with Piazza and Zeal and Alfonso and Agbayani. What a job our bullpen and Denny Nagel. I mean, it was. This was vintage pitching from our ball club.
Well, I mean, you showed a lot of whatever you want to call him. I mean, you had Denny Nagel 2 outs in the 5th inning, 1 out away from the win, and you bring in David Cone. I mean, what's behind your thinking there?
Well, Mike Piazza. Mike Piazza, he hit 2 balls hard off Nagel, the home run and then a foul home run. And
had you told Nagel you were going to get him?
No, I can't do that. Did you see the look on his face when I went out? Mm-hmm. No, he didn't know. And but Coney knew in the top half of the inning when we were hitting that he was going to pitch to Piazza.
All right, so you bring in Nelson, then you bring in Stanton. Stanton looked unbelievably tough, and you decide to go with Rivera for 6 outs, although Stanton does get out righties. Is it just you felt the game was going to be won in the 8th inning?
Well, that's where we go through the middle of their order, and I've done that before where if we're in the middle of the order, to me that's a save opportunity, and Mo, he was spectacular. Again, Zeal was that thorn in his side.
How humongous is this to go up 3-1? 34 out of 40 teams have won the World Series after being up 3-1. Is that why you managed it this way?
Well, no, you lose yesterday. You can't lose today because all of a sudden momentum shifts, and then, this ball club has been good about bouncing back. They're a very tough club over there, and Bobby Jones gave up 3 runs the first one on the first pitch of the game, and he just hunkered down and did a hell of a job. But we needed, once you get in the position to win this game, and Mo is my man in the 8th and 9th, and it was an important game for us and for them, and now we're in a good situation, even though we know we have a lot of work to do yet.
Are you surprised that with your 3-4 guys going 0 for 9 together that you could still squeak out a win?
Yeah, but again, when you have the bullpen work that we had tonight, 1 run has to be enough, and that's what it amounted to.
All right, final thing, this is off the beaten path. How much of a gamble was it to let Mariano Rivera swing away?
Well, no, that we tell our guys, you can't let people come down your throat. I mean, he was bunting, but when Robin come charging in at him, and, he was not going to just bunt it into his hands for a double play.
Congratulations, thanks.
Thanks, Michael.
There's Denny Nagel. Pitched 4 2/3. He is absolutely swarmed. Now imagine if it was in the tiny Yankee clubhouse and you get a sense of what it's like to try and cover the World Series. Anyway, Mariano Rivera is a fabulous athlete, and he was able to get the bat on the ball that Michael Kay was just talking about in that wild scene where he had a hit in the top of the 9th inning, and as if he already doesn't have it, Mariano Rivera is just increasing the level of his legendary status. One of his victims was the last man of the game. Looking at strike 3 was pinch hitter Matt Franco, who spoke to Matt Lachlan just a few moments ago here at Shea Stadium.
Matty, what has been the difference between these two teams? I mean, there's not a lot of runs separating the two, but you're down by 2.
Yeah, there's not a lot of difference. They beat us 3 games by 1 run. It's just a big hit here and there, and every game's been great. It's just we came up a little short out of 3. We won 1, and we're gonna have to come back battling.
I hate to ask you that because I know you went through it before, but can you take us through that at bat in the night there?
Yeah, he lives with that hard cut fastball. He jams lefties time after time after time. You see it every night on TV, and I just told myself I was not going to get beat by that pitch, and he just did a great job. He threw 93-mile-an-hour fastball on the outer part of the plate. I was not prepared for that pitch. Like I said, I wasn't going to get beat by that hard cutter, and he threw me one pretty good pitch to hit, and I pulled it foul where I was looking for that ball in, and he only threw 1.
What is it like when you're thinking I'm not going to get beat inside, and then he paints the corner?
When a guy's throwing 93, 94, it happens real fast. You just, when you're looking inside and he throws it that hard out there, you just freeze, and you can't do anything about it.
And now Michael Kay joins us on the field, and I love National League Baseball. I mean, you can't stop talking about virtually every move that's made every step of the way.
It is amazing, and Joe Torre excels in this because there was a game in Atlanta in '96 where he saved Wade Boggs, and he kind of like deked Bobby Cox into walking Bernie Williams, and then Wade Boggs came up and drew the walk. Joe Torre plays these National League games very well, and he made all the right moves. He really did, but you have to give credit to the players because the manager can push the buttons, the players have to execute, and Mariano Rivera finished it off with an amazing 2 innings.
And it really didn't feel like it at the time. The Yankees scored 1 run in each of the first 3 innings. The Mets countered with the Mike Piazza 2-run home run. It certainly didn't feel at the time like the final score was going to be 3-2. And now you look back painfully, if you're the Mets, on Bobby Valentine not bringing the infield in when the Yankees added that 3rd run.
Yeah, but you don't think that.
That's what I'm saying, though.
With Nagel pitching, you really think that you're going to score some runs. But the way he massaged the bullpen, he got it done. He really did, because I guess he figured they're thinking they're going to score some more runs. But he brought in the heat. Although bringing in David Cohn was a shocker.
It really was, and he got the job done, getting. Let's see, you got Mike Piazza to fly out to second base.
Biggest out of the game, probably.
Yeah, let's go across the field.
Well, I think a lot of times talking about that Soho at bat in the 3rd inning, you will see a manager leave his infield back with nobody out, wanting to cut off the threat of a big inning in case a ball could get through for a base hit and then create something bigger, and then bring it in potentially with 1 out. I don't know if Bobby would have done that there, but I think in that case I definitely agree with Mike and Al that you got to figure against Denny Nagel you're going to score some runs as the game progresses.
Yeah, historically managers tend to really start managing seriously after the 6th inning. Late in the ball game, they're a different type manager. Early earlier in the ball game, they take chances. So that might have ran through his mind.
And of course, it would end up allowing the Yankees to score what proved to be the winning run, as Bobby Jones allowed runs each of the first 3 innings. Jones giving up a home run to Derek Jeter on the first pitch he threw in the ball game. But as we've seen so often from Bobby Jones this year, even through the times when he struggled, and it seems that more often than not when he's gotten into trouble, it's been early in the game, and then he's been able to settle down and give the Mets 5 or 6 innings, and at least he was able to do that for them tonight.
You know, I think you mentioned something there, Howie, that I think was very important, and it set the tone. Derek Jeter stepping to the plate and hammering the ball over the wall. First pitch of the ball game, and I know Keith Hernandez, I know as a catcher, Keith, when you're behind the plate, it changes the complexion of the ball game. Now you're on the defensive part of this ball game as a first baseman, and you were the leader in the ball club in '86. What would run through your mind when a guy like Jeter hits a home run?
The leadoff home run, in the first inning, Fran, it's only 1 run in the first inning. We got 9 innings to play. We haven't even hit yet. So, you know, sure, it's a great lift for the Yankees, but you know, when you come in after the inning, it's 1-0. Hey, we got a whole ball game to play. And it's not a problem. And you know, as far as we're talking earlier, you guys were talking earlier about the infield coming in. I think it was too early to bring the infield in. If you wanted to do anything, maybe you bring in the corners a little bit, or the shortstop and second a little bit. But at that point, even though it's 2-0, it's in the 3rd inning. You don't want to have a big inning, and they got their big guns coming up. There's nobody out, and I just think that Bobby made the right move there, and it turned out to be the game-winning run. But you know, you can't project into the future when you're making decisions in the 3rd inning.
And absolutely, and that's why you have to have confidence in your players. And again, we talked early in the ball game, and managers will manage differently early in the ball game. If they had retrospect at their fingertips, then he makes a different move. But I agree with Keith, as far as early in the ball game, you have to have a lot of confidence in your players. That's why they're there. That's why they're out there, and it's the World Series.
And in this World Series, the Yankees have a 3-1 lead. One of the reasons why Tino Martinez is standing by across the field with Al Trautwig and Michael Kay.
All right, Tino, 2 more hits, but I'm sure that Yankee fans are sitting at home and saying, you know, like a 2-run lead, maybe a 3-run lead. Could you do it a little easier for us, please?
That would sure be nice, but their bullpen came in again today and did a great job and kept getting outs when they needed them. We couldn't get a hit to get a run in to give us some comfort, but you know, we kept battling. Our bullpen was just outstanding.
Now, when they bring in David Cone, I mean, David Cone hasn't pitched since like 1984. I mean, are you guys kind of shocked that David Cone's marching in a big game?
At first, I didn't know who was coming in. We looked out to the bullpen and saw him coming in. We all kind of grinned, and Joe was like, you know, like he knew what he was doing. So when Coney got to the mound, he was like, all right, what are we going to do with him? Like if he was, you know, just ready to go, and it was awesome, and he pitched great to Piazza.
How great is this bullpen? How much has this bullpen meant to these championship teams?
They've been everything. I think if you take any of those 3 guys out of our bullpen, we may not win all 3 championships or whatever. So they've been everything. You know, we get a lead late in the game, and especially in the postseason, it's hard for them to come back.
And you know, Tino, it's only fair the Met bullpen was equally as good.
Yeah, they were. They were outstanding. Like I said, we were just able to scratch across 3 runs and then just hold on for our lives. And fortunately, Nagel just gave up that 2-run homer to Piazza, and our bullpen from there on out just shut him down, which was a tremendous performance.
All right, thanks a lot, Tino.
Thank you, guys. Okay.
Tino Martinez, good enough to join us live here in our post-game coverage of Game 4. The look from above, the Bud One airship as Shea Stadium is now nearly empty, but everyone will be back at it tomorrow night. Lots more to come from here in Flushing. Let's go back to the studio.
Thanks very much, Al. One other point, Keith, on the bringing in the infield, or not bringing him in the 3rd inning, that I disagree with you to an extent, is Joe Torre managed this game like it was the 7th game for his team. Yankees are up 2-1. They wanted this game desperately. They know at 3-1 it's going to be very difficult. 85% of the time that has happened, that team has gone on to win it. I thought, you know, and I'm not going to second-guess Bobby Valentine. I know 20/20 hindsight's always sharper, but you need to manage this game like it's the 7th game of the World Series for the Mets, because you're down 2-1. If you go down 3-1, if you go down 3-0 in a game like this, the hole is just that much more deep.
But Mike, Joe Torre managed this game like the 7th game of the World Series from the 5th inning on. This was the 3rd inning.
Okay. Point well made. Let's look at the highlights. We're going to have them in just a second. One other point to keep. Really, the Yankees kept the Mets in this game because they had runners in scoring position.
Yes.
The Yankees 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th inning, and then again in the 9th inning, and did not add anything to their lead. So the Mets can be thankful in that sense that they were still within 1 run of this Yankee team after all those opportunities going by the board.
Well, this all translates to what we said earlier at the top of the show, is that this was going to be a pitcher's series. The men being left on base is a credit to the pitching of both these pitching staffs.
All right, so the Mets and Yankees will play Game 5 tomorrow. It will be Andy Pettitte against Al Leiter. Pettitte's got a couple wins in the postseason. I know you like him, and Mets fans certainly like their chances with Al Leiter. What kind of pressure is he going to be under tomorrow? Obviously, it's a sudden death game now for the Mets. The Yankees have 3 chances to win 1.
Well, their backs are to it. They've both been there. We're looking at Pettitte's been there before. Leiter's been there before. I mean, the Mets, from their point of view, they've got to win 3 in a row. They got to take it 1 game at a time, but they've got to feel good about their 2 lefties out there again. Hampton coming back, and then Leiter tomorrow, obviously. They got to feel good about that. And they can't worry about Game 7. Let's just win the next game. If they win the next game, then let's win the 6th game, and then we'll get to the 7th game if we get there.
Yeah, all bets are off in Game 7, certainly. I agree, though. The 2 left-handers in a row for the Mets, I mean, if you're looking for positives for them, that is certainly a positive. All right, Mariano Rivera is now standing by at Shea Stadium with Al Trautwig and Michael Kay. Once again, he does it for the Yankees. 6 outs for him, 16 straight postseason saves. Al?
And he was stylish on the mound, and he has a stylish vision in brown here tonight outside the Yankee dugout. Mariano, I guess the start of Paul O'Neill making that catch was a good way to get started, right?
It was a great way to get started. I mean, he's a fighter. I mean, O'Neill, when he got there, I mean, he's a money player, and I pick O'Neill anytime. And I was glad he's made that play.
All right, let's talk about your 9th inning there. It got a little bit scary, but you pretty much got it done. We're going to take a look at it right now. If you look at the monitor, and Agbayani started it off.
Well, I'll tell you what, I went inside with that pitch, you know.
He laughs.
That was a good pitch.
Yeah, it was.
It was a great pitch. I mean, Peyton, I mean, I wasn't trying to walk him. I was trying, when I hit it, hit it.
Now, when Franco comes up, do you think about the game-winning hit he got against you the other year?
I wasn't thinking at all. You know, I mean, he hit it very good the other day. You know, I was glad that he wasn't, you know, because I want to face him too.
Now, you told me the other day when you gave up the runs in the 9th inning of Game 2, you said, what's the big deal? We won. Did that affect you at all? Were you thinking about that at all when you came on the mound tonight?
Not at all. We won, like I said. We won, and that's what all matters. You know, we win Game 2, and today I was focusing on what I have today, what I have to do today, and I was glad that I did it.
Has it gotten to the point where you're totally psyched about trying to get 6 outs? You know, we're so used to you getting 3, but in the postseason it's been 6 and 5, you know?
I tell you what, I don't know what's going on. I like it, but, you know, it's kind of interesting. You know, I never been done that before, you know. But in the playoff, I mean, World Series especially, you know, I was happy to do it. You know,
last thing about the at-bat.
What were you trying to do?
You had to come with
I want to know the deal. Were you supposed to bunt? Did you do that yourself?
I was supposed to bunt. Well, I mean, guy throwing 96, 97, bro. If I tried to bunt and hit me, I don't want it to hit me. You know, so I just tried to I did that on my own, though.
So that was Mariano trying to protect Mariano.
Now, I have one quick question before we bring in Mike Stanton over here. Are you teaching Coney how to be a reliever?
He did a great. I mean, that was outstanding. That was outstanding seeing Coney do that, you know, and he wants to be there. That's the beauty.
Well, Mariano, thank you. And now we're going to bring in your bullpen mate, Mike Stanton.
There you go. Thanks.
Thanks, Mariano.
All right, guys.
There he is. How badly did you want to continue pitching? Because Jeff Nelson said you guys were trying to give Joe as many options without having to go to Rivera for 2 innings.
Well, you know, you never want to come out of a game, but obviously you can't argue the success of Mariano Rivera, you know, especially in the postseason. So, you know, obviously I didn't want to come out of the game, especially going to the clubhouse, how big a mess it was in there. But, you know, like I said, Mo came in and did his usual great job.
Now we're going to take a look at the 7th inning. When you came in, there's a runner on first base and 1 out. And why don't you take a look at the monitor and you take it from here.
Well, right there, you know, I know Trammell's looking for a fastball, and I wanted to make sure I just got it up. And same thing with Abbott. You know, he's a good fastball hitter, and you know, I got him with the fastball last night, and tonight I just decided to try and change speeds on it.
Now, do you want to pitch the next inning and have to face Alfonso and Piazza, or do you gladly turn it over to Rivera for those 2 guys?
No, you know, those situations are kind of what you strive for, you know, regardless of left-handed or right-handed. I want to stay in the game, and but that's not my call. And Joe knows that I want to stay in the game, but, you know, obviously you can't argue with success of Mariano Rivera.
All right, thanks a lot, Mike.
Thank you.
Lots more to come from here at Shea Stadium. Jay Payton and Bobby Jones we'll hear from in a matter of moments, but right now we go back to Mike Crispino and Keith Hernandez. The Bud One Air.
All right, thanks very much, Alan. The Yankees win tonight by a final of 3-2, and they did it with Dave Justice going 0 for 5. Bernie Williams, who is 1 for 14 in the last 14 times he's been up with men in scoring position, and 0 for 18 in the World Series for Bernie Williams. I mean, the middle of the Yankee order really has not done a lot of damage in this series.
Well, you can also look, if you notice today, body language is just so important. And you can see Bernie up there getting pitches that he had to, good pitches to hit today, some good pitches. He's fouling them back. He's a little late. You can see him talking to himself, shaking his head. He hit one ball good, and that's in the top of the 5th inning. He hit a line drive with a runner with Soho on second base with 2 outs, and he hit it right at Bordick at shortstop. It was a bullet, and that could have been the one to get him out of the slump. And the Mets were very fortunate that it was right at somebody. It was a bullet.
Yeah, Bernie Williams tonight, again, nothing going for him at 0 for 4. The Mets pinch hit a few different times, Keith. We're going to talk about that when we return. We'll have more of our post-game report from the Subway Series. Game 4 at Shea Stadium tonight, won by the Yankees 3-2. Stay with us. More from Shea and here in Manhattan. Derek Jeter kicked it off with a home run on pitch number 1 from Bobby Jones. The Yankees led from there on.
You're watching the Jeep Postgame Report, brought to you by your Tri-State Jeep dealer. Jeep, the most award-winning brand of 4x4s on earth. And by New York Marriott World Trade Center, connected to the world.
I'm in heaven.
Heaven! I'm in heaven.
Owning a Jeep Cherokee means more than just freedom. It means you're part of something bigger. Now, select lessees with exceptional credit can get a 4-wheel drive $279 a month lease, and these features at no extra charge.
Where can you get a great meal and be in the middle of all the sports action? Where you can eat and drink and be part of a great sport? At the new OTB restaurants and teletheaters, where you can enjoy the thrill of live horse racing, where you can eat 3 courses and bet 6 tracks, where you can put your mouth where your money is. To find the New York City OTB restaurant or teletheater near you, call 800-OTB-8118.
Check, please.
First of all, I'm not denying that I used cellular. It was a very experimental time. Someone passed it to me, I put it to my ear, but I did not talk, I only listened. Even then, all I heard was static. But I have been free and clear ever since. I even chose long distance so I could reach out to young people across the nation and warn them of even casual cellular use.
The new Sprint PCS Free and Clear plan, $29.99 for 500 minutes, all with nationwide long distance.
Back to New York, the Jeep post-game report of the Subway Series Game 4. Mike Crispino and Keith Hernandez. These games, Keith, all close, most one-run games. The Mets did 1 by 2 last night, but defense so important. Obviously, pitching we've been talking about for the last half hour, but defensively we saw some great plays and we saw a couple of minor misplays that turned into really the game-winning runs happening in the opening 3 innings.
Absolutely. I just think that Timo Perez who's made an error of offensive error, an aggressive error. You'd rather see someone make an error aggressively than being timid, and that was the O'Neill triple right here, as you're seeing. And he tried to cut it off, couldn't get it. If he played this ball off the wall with O'Neill's speed, and you as a defensive player, you've got to know, if it's Jeter up, okay, someone that's fast, or Willie Davis. But it's Paul O'Neill, who's not a speed burner. You take it off the wall and hold him to a double, and Paul O'Neill wouldn't have scored in that inning.
Is part of that Perez's inexperience at Shea? I mean, how many games has he played at Shea, really?
I just think it's part of his inexperience, period.
All right,
this was a great play.
Alfonso was terrific tonight defensively, ranging a long way, and then good coverage by Jones.
Bounces over the head here. Zeal's got to try to make the play. And this is heads up on Jones's part. Every pitcher knows he's got to cover first base when the ball hitting the right side. Just a brilliant play all the way around. Good baseball.
Yanks had a lot of opportunities. Here are the Mets now with Agbayani at the plate and Denny Nagel hitting. How about first baseman making this play?
Let me tell you something. As a first baseman, this is not an easy play, and Tino made a great running catch. You're almost like a wide receiver catching a long bomb there. That's the way you got to approach that kind of play.
There's one time it's better to be a right-handed first baseman for Tino. And here is Justice, and this is another nice play by Alfonso.
Well, Alfonso's done that all year, and it was just a well-played game today, and you love to see it.
What range, and then the ability to make this throw. That's not easy.
He came off his knees to make the play.
And now to the 8th inning we go with the Mets at the plate, and O'Neill in right field gets a good jump.
And this is a big play because it could be a leadoff single here. And if he comes in and the ball gets by him, it could be a leadoff triple. So there's a veteran player right there making an aggressive play. He knew he could make it.
You know what, I think when all is said and done, and of course we don't know how this series is going to turn out, but the experience of the Yankees, you can't discount that. We've seen Timo Perez, Game 1, and then Timo Perez again tonight. Now, we're not trying to single him out, but you haven't seen the Yankees make those kinds of mistakes in this series thus far in the opening 4 games.
Well, they've been here before, and they're more of a veteran ball club than the Mets, and it showed today. They were clearly in the series in general, I think. But that's why the Yankees are on the verge of winning, what, their 4th in a row?
if you're counting, 4th in 5 years. We'll talk more in just a moment from here in New York. Let's go back out to Shea Stadium. Howie Rose standing by with Fran Healy. Howie?
All right, Mike. Tonight's starting pitcher for the Mets, Bobby Jones, one of the longest tenured Mets on the ball club, a free agent at the end of the season. He'd like to stay here, but you have to consider he spent his entire life waiting to make his first World Series start after one pitch, which was launched by Derek Jeter for a home run. He was behind, but I think you have to give him some credit for settling in. He ended up getting through 5 innings. Fran gave up the 3 runs, and the Mets were in the game when he left.
Well, you really do have to give him credit for settling in because, as I mentioned earlier, I mean, first pitch of the ball game and Jeter hits the ball out. It's got to put you for a moment on your heels wondering, well, what's next? And we got to stay close enough where we can catch the Yankees. Well, the Mets did stay close enough, but you got to tip your cap to the Yankees. They got some good pitching, but Bobby Jones kept the Mets in the ball game. It's a 1-run ball game. Nothing you can do. Bobby Jones went a little bit over 5 innings, and all you can say about him is he come close. And I'm telling you, getting back to that Jeter home run, I'll guarantee you, Met fans said when that ball was hit out of the ballpark, what's next?
Well, there was no question it was out of the ballpark either, but again, to Jones' credit, he was able to get the next 3 hitters in the first inning and settle down and give them 5 decent innings. He spoke about it just moments ago with Matt Loughlin.
It's a loss, and I'm disappointed about that, of course, but you know, there's nothing. Once I'm down 3-0, I can't do nothing about that. I mean, I have to go out there and keep it at that, and give our team a chance to win.
Just quickly, when that first pitch was thrown and Jeter hit it out of the park, what are you thinking?
I don't know, probably it's 1-0, and now I got to get this next guy, and that's all I can think. I can't worry about that. I can't say timeout and mulligan. I mean, it's over and done with. It's first inning. It's 1-0. I got to get the next guy.
Did you say a moment ago you were surprised they swung at that first pitch?
I don't know if I was so much surprised, but I really don't know. I'm just trying to make a good pitch, and regardless if he swings or not, the pitch wasn't where I wanted it to be.
What were you trying to do?
It was supposed to be away. It was probably middle in.
Well, when the Mets made their first ever postseason appearance in 1969 against the Atlanta Braves in the LCS here at Shea Stadium, Gil Hodges removed Gary Gentry as the starting pitcher from a game because of a long foul ball that was hit, I believe, by Rico Carty. And a long foul ball tonight had everything to do with Joe Torre's eventually taking Denny Nagel out of the ball game, because as far as Torre was concerned, Fran, Mike Piazza hit 2 home runs tonight. Unfortunately for the Mets, though, one of them was foul.
And Mike Piazza clobbered the ball that went foul. I mean, that baby was hit almost as high as the foul pole down the left field line, and it was impressive. It brought everybody to their feet here at Shea Stadium, just going foul. One of the problems the Mets have in this series, they almost expect 2 home runs from Mike Piazza. Now, that's the home run he hit, and he hit a very good pitch over that left field wall. But again, talking about Mike Piazza, you can't expect him to hit 2 home runs in a ball game every time out. So somebody else has to pick up the slack, which leads us to Edgardo Alfonzo, who has had another solid year, outstanding year with the Mets swinging the bat. Fonzie struggling in the series so far. The Yankees have been able to shut him down. Only 2 hits in the series. The Mets need Fonzie to be productive with the bat. We talked about his defense. He's been brilliant defensively, made some nice plays again in tonight's ball game, but Fonzie and Piazza It's unfortunate. They're in the middle of the lineup. They have to deliver.
Well, Alfonso just 2 for 16 in the series. On the other side, Bernie Williams 0 for 15 in the series. 2 important players struggling. Another important player for the New York Mets is Jay Payton, one of those 3 hitters to face Mariano Rivera in the 9th inning tonight with 1 out, a tough at-bat, a fly ball, and the 2nd out.
And keep in mind, Payton hit a home run at Yankee Stadium the other day, and I'm sure it ran through his mind in that at-bat, but he got beat with the fastball. Can't get him every time, but I'm sure in the back of Payton's mind, going to the plate, thought about that home run he hit the right field at Yankee Stadium.
Still a difficult at-bat against maybe the elite short reliever in all of baseball, Mariano Rivera. How did Payton feel that at-bat went? Matt Lachlan asked him just a moment ago.
You know, I battled. You know, I felt like I said, I felt great at the plate. You know, I got a pitch to hit, and that's the case where if it's not 2 strikes on you, maybe you get a little more into the swing. But you know, I knew I had 2 strikes, and I wanted to put the ball in play. I didn't want to try to strike out either. So that was this case where I just didn't catch it quite the way I wanted to.
The thought of beating the Yankees 3 in a row is a daunting task.
It's a daunting task, but it's possible. They've lost 3 in a row before this year. Lost like 8 in a row, I believe, or something like that. So anything's possible. We, you know, that's why I say these 2 teams are evenly matched, and I think you see that out there every night. And you know, it's just a matter who goes out and plays better that night. But there's no reason why we can't come back from this.
What's been the difference so far, Jay, in this series?
1 run, basically. I mean, 1 run here. I mean, we won by 2. They won by 1. They won by 1. They won by 1. So you know, it's basically a base hit here or a pitch made there that's been the difference.
So Jay Payton, one of 3 Met batters put down by Mariano Rivera in the 9th inning as the Yankees take a 3-1 lead in this World Series, winning Game 4, 3-2 tonight here at Shea Stadium. We'll have more from Shea in just a little bit. Right now, though, back to the studios to Mike Crispino and Keith Hernandez.
All right, Howie, thanks very much. Fran as well. And you know what, Keith, 15 runs scored by the Yankees, 15 scored by the Mets. You want to look at the highlights again?
Absolutely.
All right, 3-1 the series lead for the New York Yankees after they win tonight, 3-2. So let's get on the train, head over to Shea Stadium, and we'll see Tom Seaver to begin as the Mets and Yankees matched up for the 4th time in the Subway Series. Tom Terrific and members of the 69 New York Mets firing baseballs towards home plate to kick it off, the ceremonial first pitch. Keith Hernandez will be doing that tomorrow night. Derek Jeter, before everyone got in their seats, and you've got to get there on time because that can happen. Jeter's first pitch home run. First time since 1989. Rickey Henderson did it. But that has happened in a World Series game. Bottom of the 1st inning, Piazza on with Nagel pitching. And do you think that was gone?
I thought he pulled it. It was a changeup and left out over the plate, and he just pulled it foul, upper deck. 78-mile-per-hour changeup as Piazza then waves at a fastball. Kind of surprised him on a 1-2 pitch. He threw it by him there. So Piazza goes down in inning number 4, or inning number 1, I should say. Now we go to the 2nd. Here's O'Neill off. It looked like a curveball. It was a curve, down and in. And really the misplay by Perez, instead of playing it off the wall, holding him to a double. You heard O'Neill telling Al Trautwig and Michael Kay, there's a lot of room for triples in Shea Stadium, and the Yankees have had a couple. In fact, O'Neill's had a couple in this series alone, and that later led to a Brocious fly ball. And here's Jeter in the 3rd inning, Keith, another triple. Off the wall there, he just got hot, starting another inning. Look how he runs the bases. Look how he cuts those turns so short. He does so many things so well. And Alex Rodriguez, could he be Shea-Rod next year? Could happen. 3rd inning, Nagel pitching to Piazza. Wow. I mean, that pitch wasn't even in the strike zone. No, it was a nasty pitch, like it was a changeup or a sinker down and away. And Mike went out there and hit a very, very tough pitch. That's how strong he is. Bottom of the 6th inning, it's 3-2 Yankees. The runners at first base, and Agbayani, line drive, but it wouldn't hit that hard. I thought he hit it off the end of the bat. I thought Nelson came in and pitched very, very, very tough to all the hitters. And it was towards the end of the bat. I wouldn't be surprised if Benny broke his bat in that one. 1 1/3 by Nelson tonight. And now here's Rivera going to work. Bubba Trammell with a fly ball to right field. And O'Neill makes a nice play. We talked about this earlier. Risky play, though, Keith. But I think, you know, he knew he was going to make the play. If he thought there was any chance of the leadoff that was going to get by him, he would take the 1 hop and hold it to a single. And here's Rivera, you know, outside corner, painted at 95-mile-an-hour fastball. And getting 6 outs seems like, I don't want to say it's easy, but this man has got not only great velocity, but he certainly has the stamina to get 6 outs, and Torrey went to him. Well, this, like you said, Joe was going to go 2 innings with him. I thought it was the right move. Stanton, Nelson, and Cone, Nelson, and Stanton got him to the 8th. This was the this was a pivotal game here. Go for the juggler. Mariano, go out there and give me 2. You've got all winter to rest.
That's
Shut
right.
the door.
Edgardo Alfonso, as Fran Healy and Howie Rose were talking about, 0 for 3 tonight. And Fonzie's had his troubles, 2 for 16 in this series, Keith. I thought El Duque put him in a little bit of a mini slump last night with all that breaking stuff outside the strike zone.
Well, El Duque is just tough on right-handers, period. And he's like a Louis Tiant type pitcher. And Fonzie, it's been one of the keys of the series. Alfonso is obviously one of the best players in the National League and a great player, I feel, and he's just been shut down this series. So you got to credit the Yankee pitching.
Joe Torre moved Jeter to the leadoff spot tonight, Keith. Would Bobby Valentine even think of moving Alfonso somewhere else in the lineup tomorrow?
No, you stick with it, I think. And he's limited at what he can do. He's got a left-hand pitcher tomorrow going against him in Pettit. Perez hasn't been doing it, but I don't think he's got anybody else to lead off.
How about Darryl Hamilton?
Perez.
Do you take a chance? He's a left-hand hitter, but he's a veteran guy.
No, I think it's a possibility. It'd be interesting to see what Bobby does. I would like to see Timo leading off, maybe trying to drag bunt off a left-hander and try to push it. You got a left-hander out there, push it down the first base line and try to make something happen. He's a good bunter. We'll see what happens.
One thing we saw tonight as well, Keith, the free-swinging Mets were well scouted by Yankee pitchers, and the Yankee pitchers have been hitting their spots.
Well, sometimes you look good. You hit them where they are.
They did it tonight, did the Yankee pitching staff. We shall return with more of our post-game Subway Series report here from MSG Network in New York and, of course, at Shea Stadium. Piazza. Wow. Outside the strike zone and low, just blasted into the bleachers and left center. That was the Mets offense tonight.
You're watching the Jeep Postgame Report, brought to you by New York Marriott Eastside, at the center of it all, and by Sprint PCS, the clear alternative to cellular.
Celebrate the first all-New York World Series since '56 with this limited edition commemorative Subway Series pin set. You get 5 brass pins proudly displayed in a case with velvet lining and Subway Series title plate. The NL champion Mets, AL champion Yankees, World Series 2000, dueling teams, and the historic Subway Series completes the 5-pin set. Call 877-926-5799 and bring home baseball history for only $29.85. You can forever commemorate this World Series classic. 877-926-5799. Call now.
Williams swings. There's a high drive going deep. It is. There it goes. The long drive. If it stays fair, home run.
Alex Rogers' bat that when he hit his 61st home run, and that touched it with my heart. Now I can honestly say that my bat will lie next to his.
The Baseball Hall of Fame in Cooperstown, New York. Be a part of it. For information, call 1-888-HALL-OF-FAME or visit us on the web at baseballhalloffame.org.
It was the at-bat that New York was waiting to see.
Why would he do it?
I was like deer in the headlights. I was trying to just refocus.
What are the odds?
It was bizarre. I can't really describe it.
That was a very, very wacky inning.
That lived up to the hype. That one at-bat lived up to the hype. It was amazing.
I was kind of a little stunned by that.
It was just one of those kind of weird, crazy plays.
A very bizarre incident.
And you don't know what's going to happen with the 3 games going to New York.
I think the question here at Yankee Stadium right now, and Howie will discuss this, what is the legacy of Game 2 going to be?
Jeep postgame summary, Game 4, 2000 World Series, the Subway Series. Jeter and O'Neill hot, 2 triples, 3 runs scored. Jeter had a homer, 2. How about the Yankee bullpen? 4 1/3, 2 hits, no runs. They struck out 5, walked only 1. And Rivera has got 6 career World Series saves, ties Rolly Fingers' World Series record. And the Yankees on the road are now 9-1 in the World Series since 1996. Back out to Shea Stadium, Howie Rose and Fran Healy. Howie?
All right, Mike, and I think when people handicapped this World Series before it started, a lot of them centered around the pitching and thought the Mets might have had an edge there. Certainly in terms of the staff from 1 to 10, but specifically in the bullpen. Certainly you give credit to Nelson and Rivera, but all I heard and read was how the Yankees were in trouble apart from those two. I'll tell you what, Fran, that Yankee bullpen, other than simply Nelson and Rivera, has been brilliant during this series and again tonight.
They really have, and what they've done is when they enter the ball game, they throw strikes. They have good stuff, and that's very important, and they throw it over the plate, aggressively going after the Mets, and so far they have the upper hand.
Really, the Yankees staff from 1 to 10, those who have appeared anyway in these first 4 games, have been outstanding. Denny Nagel got them to the 5th inning, even though he was 1 out away from qualifying for a win. What does Mike Piazza think of that Yankee staff so far?
They just come in, throw strikes, and they're aggressive, and it's the same thing with their bullpen. I mean, they have a lot of talent down there. You know, it's when you got like Dwight Gooden, you know, David Cohn, yeah, guys that, as I said, have the experience. You have Stanton, you have guys that Nelson. I mean, he's as tough as anybody. I mean, for a right-hand hitter, for me personally, I mean. He's really tough. So, but you know what? That's not an excuse for us. We're battling. That's all you can do. Like I said, it's frustrating for us.
How do you like your chances to win 3 straight at this point? That's what you get.
Well, we just want to win tomorrow. That's the bottom line. We'll take it from there. I don't think we could look about winning 3 straight. Look at that much forward. We come out and win tomorrow. Who knows? I mean, it could swing the momentum a little bit.
So what do the Mets bank on now if they look to extend this series and perhaps take it the limit? And I think one thing they have to feel pretty good about, Fran, is the fact that if they can get at least the next 2 games in, it'll be with their best pitchers, Al Leiter tomorrow and Mike Hampton in Game 6.
And we've seen Al Leiter, when he has his good stuff, he can become unhittable. So they need an unhittable Al Leiter tomorrow night. And we talked about Fonzie and Piazza. Of course, you cannot expect Piazza to hit 2 home runs every time out. They need Fonzie to deliver. And if Fonzie is struggling, then the rest of the ball club has to pick him up. But Leiter's the key. He's got to go out and pitch another brilliant ball game.
And of course, from the Yankees standpoint, they've got not only Andy Pettitte going tomorrow, but they've got all that World Series experience of the last few years that they can lean on. They know how to play a potential clinching game. In fact, just being extended to 5 is news for these Yankees over the last couple of years. So from the Mets side of the field, for Fran Healy, I'm Howie Rose. Let's send you back across the diamond now to Al Trotwig and Michael Kay.
All right, Howie, and now in our wrap-up, we want to begin by talking about why is it that the Yankees find themselves up 3-1 in this series. Sure, it's the obvious, the hit here, the run there, the catch here. But really, when you go deeper into what this is all about, you have to give credit to the man who is largely given credit for starting the Yankees in the direction that got them to this point in the first place.
Well, it's Gene Michael, and he's got a great scouting staff. Guys like Wade Taylor and Damon Oppenheimer, they do some job. They really tail all the teams that the Yankees could possibly face in the postseason. Let's take a look at what they've done. Timo Perez, nobody could get him out for the final month of the season. 2 for 17 against the Yankees. Totally harmless. Edgardo Alfonso, one of the best players in baseball, 2 for 16. Mike Piazza has 2 home runs. One of them was a so-what home run in the 9th inning when they were down 6-0. He's 4 for 17. Ventura's 3 for 16. Bordick is 1 for 8. That's pretty important. You've neutralized most of the lineup. They haven't been able to get out Todd Zeile. They couldn't get him out he was with the Texas Rangers anyway. But Gene Michael and his staff have done really a great job.
All right, so exceptional pitching after great preparation, and now the Yankees look to tomorrow, and it's Andy Pettitte against Al Leiter once again. And quite simply, before this game ever gets started, Andy Pettitte knows what the deal is. Al Leiter's going to keep it really, really close, and he's got to match him.
That's right, and Al Leiter, as Fran just said, when he's got rest, he's really unhittable at times, so he knows he pitches big games very well. Andy Pettitte pitches his best ball games, World Series games, on the road. Here's the numbers. If you're a Yankee fan, you've got to revel in this. 40 teams have been up 3-1 in World Series play. 34 of them have gone on to win the World Series. The last team that came back from a 3-1 deficit, the 1985 Royals, but they didn't come back against this New York Yankee team. As you so aptly put, they know how to win these games. I mean, they've been around, and they know how to close this out.
All right, Mike, that'll do it for us from here at Shea Stadium. We'll see you tomorrow in our post-game coverage for Game 5. But here tonight, it started with the very first pitch, and what a glorious shot it was for the Yankees. As Derek Jeter blasted it over the left field wall, they claimed the early lead. Then Denny Nagel settled in, and the Yankees watched as Mike Piazza, with one unbelievable swing, lunged and put one over the wall. Suddenly, it was 3-2. And that is the way it would go every pitch the rest of the way. Joe Torre went into the bullpen and grabbed something out of the Yankees, and Mets passed. David Cohn faced Piazza and got him out. At times, Alfonso was dazzling at second base, but at all times, the Yankee bullpen was there, putting up 0 after 0. The Mets bullpen did the same. Glendon Rush was super. And then finally, it came down to Mariano Rivera for 6 huge outs. Paul O'Neill helped out by making a great catch in right field, and Mariano got the job done with 2 ninth-inning strikeouts. His ERA goes a little bit lower. We'll see you tomorrow night, everybody.
All right, thanks to Al Trautwig, Michael Kay, Howie Rose, Fran Healy, and again, Mariano Rivera was just spectacular. Keith, he got 6 outs. The Yankee bullpen was perfect tonight. And if you're the Mets, it looks like this. You know, obviously, you got to win the next 3, but you got to figure you got to win the game essentially in the opening 5 innings if you're the Mets, if the Yankee bullpen continues to pitch like this.
Well, they've gotten to the Yankee bullpen, too. You can't think that far ahead. Tomorrow's the most important game. I know it's old and it's trite, but you take it a game at a time. You've got your ace out there, an Al Leiter, and you just got to win the first game or it's sayonara.
All right, let's examine Mariano Rivera from the hitter's perspective, because you were watching him work against Benny Agbayani in the 9th inning tonight.
Well, he's just overpowering. I mean, he leads them off with a cut fastball away, knee-high outside corner. Another one, same spot. Another one there. Then a fastball in. Now tell me that isn't good pitching. Just locked them up inside. And if you're a hitter, you got to tip your hat. That was just brilliant sequence of pitches right there. I was just so impressed.
19 2/3 innings pitched, World Series, 16 hits, 3 earned runs, 16 strikeouts, almost 1 an inning, and the record 1-0, 6 saves tonight. Perfect, 2 strikeouts. And one of the, I don't know, more heartwarming moments of the game tonight, if you're a Mets and Yankee fan, is to see David Cohn get an opportunity, maybe his last, in New York to pitch in a World Series game. Joe Torre goes to him in the 5th inning against Mike Piazza, and as Joe told Michael Kay, because he had already seen Denny Nagel give up 2 home runs, one that was fair to Mike Piazza.
Correct, and David's been there before, and it was another great sequence of pitches here. You can't say it was really a pressure situation because there was no one on base. But David comes in, not used to being a relief pitcher, and look at this. Fastball, ball, okay, fine, up and in. Fastball, knee-high outside corner. Slider, nasty knee-high outside corner. Ball off the plate, he fished, and then he jams him inside. It's just the same, almost identical what Rivera did to Agbayani. It's just brilliant, brilliant sequence of pitches.
So up and in, low and away, and they get the Mets. And Keith, I tell you, as Michael was just mentioning, the scouting report of Gene Michael and his crew did a nice job scouting the Mets hitters, but you got to, execute, and the Yankee pitching staff has done that.
I think the Yankee pitching is basically a power pitching staff, and I think the Mets are a completely opposite hitting team. They swing a lot of pitches up here, if you've noticed in the whole series. They've thrown them fastballs up out of the strike zone, and I think that the Yankee pitching so far has pretty much overpowered the Met lineup.
And they've been throwing the ball where the Mets just can't get a good shot at it. Bubba Trammell struck out that way, and Jay Payton has had some strikeouts that way as well. All right, let's go back to Shea Stadium. Last couple of minutes, David Cohn met with the media there, and so did Derek Jeter. Here it is on tape.
Derek and David, can you talk about the position you're in right now, which I know is a nice position to be in, up 3-1, 1 game away. You're familiar with it. What's your mood right now, the confidence level right now?
Well, we're 1 win away from where we want to be, but this Met team's not going to give up. In my opinion, they're the best team we've played in the 5 years that I've been here in the postseason. A few of these games could have gone either way, all 4 actually, and they're not going to give up. So we still have to come out here ready to play.
Brad? No.
David, Joe just said that he had told you before the 5th inning started that you would definitely come in to face Piazza. What were your thoughts approaching that?
Well, that's not exactly true, but they told me to get ready for Piazza. I wasn't sure that I would